Oh, it's Chris Avalon Unfiltered, bitch. Hey y'all, welcome and happy Wednesday. It's your boy Chris Avalon, and welcome to a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered, the show we basically talk about all things going on in celebrity news, gossip, pop culture, all that good stuff. We'll even throw a little politics in if it slimmers into anything entertainment based. So if that's a show for you, definitely stick around because we have a lot of tea to spill today, including I have more details on what may have happened with Malcolm-Jamal Warner, what caused his drowning and all that good stuff. Plus, we weren't on yesterday, so we got to talk about we lost Ozzy Osbourne, the king of the Prince of Darkness, the king of heavy metal or British heavy metal. But so yeah, we're gonna get into that and all the condolences and everything from the people within the music industry and in the film industry who were fans of his that sent their condolences. So we'll go through all of those. Plus, if y'all thought that that idiot in chief was going to end his little tirade with the media, if you thought it was going to start and stop with Stephen Colbert, then you ain't been paying attention because apparently now he's going after the ladies at the View. So we'll talk about that. Plus, we got to talk about Wendy Williams, and it looks like her lawyers are ready to sue the people that caused her misdiagnosis and her incarceration. So we'll get into that story because her lawyer is going in, and I got the video. So, and speaking of people going after people in media, Miss Thing named Blake Lively is trying to come for me. And those of us who work in the whole situation of YouTube, because she going after a bunch of YouTubers thinking that Just Baldoni has been paying us to talk about her. So we'll get into that foolishness. Plus, Scooter Braun said that you Swifties need to get up off his nuts because he said that y'all made this horrible misconception that he cares what y'all think in regards of all that hate y'all been throwing in his direction. So yeah, he coming for the Swifties. We gotta get into that. Plus, Jennifer Lopez has a hater in Megyn Kelly because she out here getting her back blown out fake wise by her backup dancers because you know they all homosexual, quiet as kept. She ain't getting her back blown out by none of the old dancers unless it would have been Casper Smart if she would have got him back. But anyway, so Megyn is hating because Jennifer is on these stages thinking that she Madonna back in the day during the Blonde Ambition tour where she was, simulating the things and the masturbation and all that other stuff. So we'll get into that. Plus, Justin Timberlake is being dragged for giving a half-ass show. We'll get into that. Plus, David Geffen, child, the homosexuals out here cutting up because his soon-to-be ex-husband, not fiance, they already married. His soon-to-be ex-husband is filing a suit and saying was revealing a whole lot of crazy stuff. So we got to get into that story. Plus, speaking of crazy, child, they out here dragging Laverne Cox by her edges because apparently she was out here hunching a MAGA supporting police officer from New York. So we got to get into that story because she is being dragged on social media. We got to get into that. And speaking of relationships and breakups and things, Adam Lambert and his boyfriend has broken up after almost 5 years of dating. So we'll get into that and a whole lot more. So before we get to those topics, if you have not already, please hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. And also be sure to smash the notification bell so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. I'll be putting in timestamps at the end of the show so that way for those of you who want to follow and just get right to the clips instead of all the banter that we do in between, you can do so by just clicking on the topic at hand where you'll see it all in the description, all that good stuff. So without further ado, let me hit my banner and let's get into topic number one. So the other day we talked about Malcolm-Jamal Warner passing away. We heard that he was pulled out from a current, on the beach. He was out in Costa Rica with his family and was having a good old time. And then this current kind of swept him out. But now we come to find out that what had happened was his daughter was the one who got pulled out by the current. He went in to save her, but he unfortunately couldn't make it back to save himself, and he died by asphyxiation. So I have the details on that. So the article, wait, before we get into that, I do want to say, like, there was a couple of celebrities because we didn't really get into them. The people that really spoke out and sent their condolences, everyone from Tracy Ellis Ross, because they worked on a show called Read Between the Lines, and they played a married couple. Eddie Griffin, who, he was on Malcolm and Eddie with back on the UPN. I used to love that sitcom when it was on. Eddie Griffin sent his condolences. Then we had Niecy Nash sent her condolences. Also, Angela Bassett, he worked with on 911. And I believe she also was on, I think Angela Bassett did co-star on The Cosby Show. Yeah, she's been around since the 80s. So I believe she did do an episode of The Cosby Show, one of those shows. I remember I did spot her on a sitcom back in the day. So as a guest star. So yeah, she sent her condolences. Also, Wendell Pierce, who, plays Perry White in the new Superman movie. He sent his condolences. Not Halle Berry. Angela Bassett's husband, Courtney B. Vance, also sent his condolences. And then who else? So we have Marley Matlin, Ashley Jones from The Resident when they worked together. And everybody talked about how nice he was and how kind he was and what a big heart he had, and always talked about his poetry and his music and all that other stuff. So he was always, one of the things I always loved about Malcolm-Jamal Warner is that he was always active. Like, he was one of the rare child stars who kept the job. Whereas you see all these other ones, they falling apart. They got caught up in drugs. There was all this other stuff. Now Malcolm-Jamal Warner, Malcolm stayed with a job. So that was the one thing I loved about him, that he was a hustler. He always had something that he was out here doing, and he was always advocating for Black people. So that was the one thing I loved about him, because, he also had a podcast. And then also Bill Cosby himself sent out his condolences and things of that nature. So there was a lot of people out here who sent their condolences. But in addition to that, the article from the Daily Mail said basically that, it says, according to the police, surfers leapt into action after spotting the late actor, best known for his role as Theo Huxtable on the sitcom The Cosby Show, and his little girl struggling in the ocean after getting caught by a rip current. Now, after diving in to help, law enforcement told ABC News that one surfer used his board to bring Warner's daughter to safety, and a volunteer lifeguard pulled Warner and another surfer to shore. Warner, who died of asphyxia by submersion, was given 45 minutes of CPR. Unfortunately, he could not be revived and was pronounced dead at the scene by authorities. He was 54. The father and daughter were swimming near Cocles, a beach in Limon, Costa Rica, before tragedy struck. So the outlet noted that both surfers survived the harrowing ordeal on Sunday. Now, Daily Mail has reached out to Warner's representatives for comment, and you should already know, because they're grieving at this moment, Daily Mail, that they're not going to respond to any kind of comments regarding what has happened with him. Like, give the family time to grieve, and then you'll get your comment down the road. Now, prior to his passing, Warner made a conscious effort to keep his daughter and wife out of the spotlight, a part of the occasional social media posts. And I've seen them, and out of respect for the family, I'm not going to show the pictures. That's why I'm going to just keep this one up, because it's like, if y'all want to look and see what the daughter and the wife look like, you can Google Schmoogle. They're out there. So, but out of respect, I'm not going to post the photos. Now, for privacy reasons, he chose not to publicly disclose his daughter or wife's names. Earlier this week, officials announced that a man left in critical condition was trying to save the actor. A spokesman for the Judicial Investigation Agency, OIJ for short, revealed the Good Samaritan had entered the water to help Warner after he was swept away by a rip current. A statement obtained by People confirmed that the unidentified 35-year-old man had no personal connection to the actor beforehand and was simply on the beach at the time Warner got into difficulty. Well, there are such good things called Good Samaritans. I know this might be a little far-fetched for you, Daily Mail, who likes to just throw the word woke around whenever y'all get a chance, because it makes you sound somewhat intelligent. But, there are actual people out here who give a good goddamn about others and will leap into action because that's the right thing to do. So they don't need to have some type of attachment in order to, want to help someone. Now, Warner was swimming in, okay, so now they keep repeating themselves, because now that we already told them he was in Playa Cocles in Limon province when a current pulled him deeper into the ocean. First responders found Warner without vital signs when they attended the scene of the water-related incident around 2:10 p.m. on Sunday. Per the OIJ, Warner's body will be removed from the judicial morgue by a funeral service company hired and authorized by his family. According to TMZ, his remains are scheduled to leave Costa Rica on Thursday and will arrive in LA on Friday morning. A source told the outlet that the actor's body was turned over by the judicial morgue on Wednesday morning following the completion of his autopsy. Now, following Warner's shock death, lifeguards from Playa Grande, a beach community located on the Pacific coast of Costa Rica, released a statement saying they were not present due to lack of resources. So, with them saying that they were not present due to lack of resources, meaning that if y'all know that they have situations out here like currents and stuff, you should have lifeguards and things of that nature out there to help people out. But when you say that they pretty much have to have cuts because they don't have the resources or the bodies to be able to put out there and fund making sure that people are safe on these beaches and that these things are not happening. Unfortunately, it takes the death of someone, and now it seems like the universe is like, well, it unfortunately had to be a big celebrity for probably whoever is out there cutting corners in Costa Rica could be held accountable and be like, okay, now we cannot have this happen again. So now the money is just going to have to, y'all got to find the money somewhere to make sure that the resources in place so that way this doesn't happen again to another human being. Because unfortunately, it's like the only time people pay attention or give a damn is when it happens to a celebrity. It can happen to a regular person, nobody cares. But if it happens to a celebrity, the money all of a sudden comes pouring in because it looks bad on them. So they said it all happened very quickly, and although there were people on the beach who entered the water to rescue him, they did not arrive in time. Now, he was pulled from underwater without vital signs, and despite CPR maneuvers being performed on the beach, resuscitation was unsuccessful. The guard added that Playa Grande is one of their most challenging beaches, noting the presence of signs in English and Spanish that warn of the danger of death due to drowning. Now, per the guard, though the guard has patrolled there over the past few years, they allege they were not present at the time of his death. Now, due to recent aquatic incidents in Playa Negra, we had redirected resources there into Chiquita, another iconic beach known for its strong currents. They then made an appeal to Costa Rica's president, go after his ass, Rodrigo Chavez Robles, and the government. And so, and then it said from Caribbean Guard, a volunteer lifeguard association, we made an urgent appeal to the president of the nation, the national government, the municipality of Talamanca, and the entire Caribbean community to continue joining forces to minimize this problem, which sadly is on the rise across the entire country. So y'all been aware that stuff of this has been going on, and these government officials haven't been doing anything, which is pretty much what I said before I read the rest of this article. And now, like I said, unfortunately, it had to happen to a celebrity. And this is always like the case when, it goes on deaf ears when it comes to these politicians. But when a celebrity is affected, then all of a sudden it looks bad on them, and then they want to save face, and then they want to, do what they're supposed to have done when we gave them the warning signs eons ago. So they said, we do everything within our reach. We have saved numerous lives in recent years, and if Caribbean Guard didn't exist, the number of drownings would be counted in dozens. We give everything we have to minimize the risk, but without help from the government, clear public policies, and strong support from local business owners, this will continue to happen. Now, on Sunday, the Costa Rican Red Cross received a 911 alert about a water incident at Playa Grande, Cahuita Limon. In response, 3 ambulances were sent to the scene as per Us Weekly. Costa Rica's Judicial Investigation Department told Us Weekly that their preliminary investigation indicated Warner appeared to have entered the sea and was apparently swept away by a current. And they said that he was in Costa Rica since the 13th of July. So he was out there for a minute. And they said we already know he was where his iconic role was. He was on The Cosby Show. And, he was like the only son that was on the show. So I related to Theo in a lot of ways, especially like who didn't grow up? Well, I guess, except unless you Gen Z. But for the most part, a lot of us, elder millennials, Gen X, some millennials also, people live for it in reruns. We all grew up watching The Cosby Show. So, hearing something about this is unfortunate. Oh, I forgot to also mention Raven-Symoné sent her condolences and stuff too, because she was on the show. She played Olivia. So, yeah, unfortunately, this is just sad. And yeah, so that's the latest basically on Malcolm-Jamal Warner. I'll definitely be keeping abreast of the story as it develops. I mean, we know a little bit. They did do an autopsy, but I'm sure they're going to release some more information. Because, this same thing that happened with the Vivian. When they passed, there was more information that kept coming out, the pre-thing. I mean, the thing that they talked about before they did the autopsy, and then the autopsy recently came out. We found that out. So I'm sure the same thing will happen where we'll find out the full autopsy report, because TMZ nosy behind gonna get their hand on it. So, and then I will bring y'all that information when it comes out. So in the meantime, I definitely want to hear from you guys. What do you guys think of this story, the latest on Malcolm-Jamal Warner and what had happened to him in his final moments while he was out in Costa Rica? And hopefully, if anybody out there who's planning on traveling to Costa Rica, just use this as a warning to be like, yeah, you need to be aware of just how dangerous these currents are on those beaches and stuff out there. So that, and hopefully the government gets themselves together, because now that a major American celebrity has passed. But then again, with this current administration, I don't think American lives pretty much matter to people over in other parts of the world. But nevertheless, yeah, that's the latest. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Oh boy, so we see people. What are they saying? Sailor Mermaid's in the building. How you doing? Funny enough, I had a dream about. Oh, you said I had a dream about you earlier, and then boom, I see you about to start the show. Well, I did tell people that I was going to do a show today, because I didn't get to do one yesterday because I was working the Ghost concert, which was actually. See, I hate you. I don't even think. I don't know if Onyx is in the room, but they were saying like, oh, you might like them. I don't like their music, but you might like them because it's like they're theatrical. The music is very catchy. And I was like, okay, it was a good show. So you were right. I did like the show. I didn't know much about the music. And I had a lot of coworkers too who weren't really familiar with their music. That like rock music. Like, I've never really heard of them. I didn't know who they were, but they were like, I like a lot of the songs. There was quite a few people that kept coming in my section and telling me that. Because I was like on the edge by the side of the stage. So I mean, I had a pretty good view too. So Hola Chismosa. So, child, I looked at Laverne. Quiet as it's kept. I've been looking sideways at Laverne Cox for a while, but this was pretty much confirmation on some of the alleged pick me tease that I've always kind of felt from her. I saw a video from TMZ of Raven reacting to it. That, and you said, yeah, that's the one thing too, is that that child gonna be in therapy for a while, because when you're in the process, like you're being pulled out by a current and you're thinking that you're going to die, and your father jumps in and try to save you. And then you got other people there trying to pull y'all out of those currents, because the surfers, I guess, they know how to navigate through those waters. So the guy's like trying to help pull them out, well, help the daughter come out with the surfboard. And then they try to pull him out. They got him out, but then they couldn't revive him. So I think he choked on the water, and basically that's how he suffocated. And then they were trying to bring him back, but I guess the current pulled him out he was out there for so long, and that water was so powerful that it was just like it just took him out. And now it's just like it's just sad. And now I just feel like that's just going to be a memory, or it's like a traumatic thing that his daughter's going to be living over and over and over and over. Not only that she ain't going to see her father again, but it's just like that thing you're going to be reliving over and over again. And then the possible way you feel like, oh, if I would have just did this, oh, I kind of wish like, it's the regretting of it all. And I just don't, I mean, it's hard to tell kids, but it's just like, you don't want to, I just, it just hurts that you have to that's so much like you put so much of that pressure and stuff on yourself. So and that feeling of guilt, and it's not your fault. It's like sometimes things happen, but therapy will help them get through that. I ain't gonna say it's gonna cure it, but it'll help her get through it. Raven was in airport. Yeah, well, look, whenever it comes to TMZ, they always trying to catch them outside the damn airport. Well, we'll see if they can file a lawsuit, or they'll probably say like, "Well, you can't file a lawsuit because y'all were told that how dangerous these 3 deaths this week: Connie Francis, Ozzy, now Malcolm." Well, Malcolm didn't he die before? Well, Malcolm died before Ozzy. Nigga said, "Oh, I found out about Ozzy's passing from a meme about him being reincarnated." um, How did I found out I was on my way to the gym yesterday, and I was watching. Funny enough, I was watching the John Campea show while I was on the train, and he said normally we don't do stories about music or whatever. We always try to stick to the movie stuff. But he said, but Ozzy Osbourne. I was like, what? That's how I get. And then immediately I went over to social media and I was like, yep, everybody thought Variety was dropping it and all that other stuff. And it's funny how they just did his little farewell concert in his hometown, I think in the UK. And it was hosted by Jason Momoa. And he even performed it in the chair. I was like, "Child, this you pretty much when you doing a farewell tour, you're pretty much putting a bow on the end of your legacy." And then right after that, he was gone. This makes me want to go back to trains. This is why I don't go in the water. Ever since I seen Jaws, I can't get into ghosts. But I'm glad you and your coworkers enjoy the show. The lead singer also paid tribute to. How you know? Oh, you saw the video? Wait, you couldn't have seen the video. It wasn't recorded. They don't allow, oh, yeah, I was going to say, yeah, they don't allow filming of their shows. And I was like, all concerts need to do this. You cannot record their shows. So we have whenever Yonder is involved, that's like you got to put your phone in a case and it's locked up. We have unlocking stations in case of emergency, or if it's something where you got to keep track of, like if you have like illnesses, like if you have diabetes, whatever the case is, there's an exception. But if you catch on your phone, it's a wrap. But yeah, their show is like they don't allow recording or anything, which I think is awesome. I think more concerts need to do that. And I think it will also prevent people from revealing their concerts and stuff on air, like on YouTube and all that other stuff. That would really cut that down. I kind of wish more artists would get into that. But I don't know. I mean, but I guess it's expensive. That's why people don't do it. You said, well, someone filmed it. It was on the Clock app. I think the Forbidden Daily Mail posted. Well, yeah, but that's why they was like, if we catch you, but they weren't in my section with no damn watch. I mean, with no cameras. I made sure of that. I don't play that. The minute I see somebody with turn it off. And that's the one warning you get. The next time we bring security in and you're escorted out. They don't be playing with that. That's why I don't like when some of the comedians, they be wanting us to do the same thing, where they want us to tell people like about the phone. I said, oh, I ain't doing that one. But the good thing, that's why I liked about the Matt Rife show. They put signs all over, like on the big Jumbotron screens, no cameras, no pictures, no nothing. Like, come and enjoy the show. We even had like GERs walking around with signs telling people not to, I was like, where were y'all all this time? I was like, we needed y'all because after what everybody, you do not want to be telling every person that comes into your section, okay, they want you to know, like, don't bring the phone, like, it's annoying. And, you do get people that don't listen, but then we make exceptions if it's a musical artist that comes out, then you can pull out your phone like they did with Jesse McCartney, or the last time we did, when I did like a couple of comedy shows, they would have a musical guest and stuff come out. Like, remember 50 Cent came out at the end of Andrew Schultz's comedy special. You said the fact that many black folks in the US say they can't swim is unsettling. That needs to be a requirement, but unfortunately swimming classes are expensive. That's why I was like, they had swimming pool, like in certain schools, like when I was growing up, schools had like swim pools and things. So that it should be a requirement where people learn how to swim, or it's like, in like me growing, that's why I say it's weird now how the generations have changed so much, because when I was growing up, it's like we had like the community pools. I remember like when I would go camp, like to day camp, we would go down to the pool, and in Brooklyn there was called Betsy Head Pool. We would go down there and we would go swimming and stuff. That chlorine used to take me out. I was like, damn, how much chlorine y'all put up in that damn water? That's why I wouldn't go in there. But and then there'd be too many kids up in there trying to do stupid shit and they play too much. One time somebody had left a floaty up in there, and I'm talking about the number 2. I was like, oh hell no. That was like, ever since then, I was like, I ain't never getting back in no damn pool water. If I had a pool in my house, I would get one. But I ain't getting no other people pool if y'all gonna be sitting there doing number 2. But anyway, y'all, let's move on to our second topic and let's get into this Ozzy Osbourne news. So, yeah, yesterday we didn't get to talk about Ozzy Osbourne. I paid tribute to him and stuff, so I'm doing it a day late. So, yeah, as I was saying prior before I even came in to do this topic, how I found out about Ozzy Osbourne passing away was I was on my way into the city to work the Ghost concert at Madison Square Garden, and I was watching one of my shows on one. I was watching a YouTube pundit that does a lot of movie news and stuff, and they were just talking about how like they don't do music news and that sort of thing, but they wanted to just acknowledge the fact that Ozzy Osbourne had died. And that was when I found out and I gagged. And so I had to go immediately on social media, looked it up, and I saw, excuse me, all the major trades were talking about his death. So I thought, that we'd pay a little tribute to the Prince of Darkness here, the founding father of British heavy metal. So yeah, he died on Tuesday after a years-long struggle with Parkinson's disease. He was 76 years old. So now fans, musicians, and other bandmates paid tribute to Osbourne, the frontman of pioneering heavy metal band Black Sabbath, who died at 76. Black Sabbath have lost our brother, says the band's co-founder Tony Iommi, while bassist Terrence Geezer Butler remembered their final gig, and drummer Bill Ward shared a photo of them together. The music icon's death on Tuesday, announced by his family, came just weeks after the band played their farewell gig in his hometown of Birmingham, saying, quote, "It is with more sadness than mere words can convey that we have to report that our beloved Ozzy Osbourne had passed away this morning." This is what his family said. He was with his family and surrounded by love. Now, American rock band Aerosmith called him our brother in rock, saying that its love goes out to the millions around the world who felt his fire. Less than 3 weeks ago, the self-styled Prince of Darkness performed in Birmingham, supported by many of the musicians he had inspired, including Metallica and Guns N' Roses. Billy Corgan, lead singer of the Smashing Pumpkins, one of the many bands that performed alongside them, said, quote, "Some of the biggest musical artists in the world travel from all over the world to be there literally to celebrate the legacy of this band. It's one of the greatest musical moments of my life," added Corgan, who spoke to BBC Radio 4's The World Tonight. For him to have been that close to death on July 5th and still get up there and perform like he promised, wow, that puts him in a category of his own. Sammy Hagar, the lead vocalist of Van Halen, who also played at the farewell concert for Osbourne, wrote on Instagram, with a broken heart emoji. That was from Metallica. And then others share fond memories of Osbourne's larger than life character. And funny enough, that's why I was like, you know what? If he knew he was close to that. Somebody, I remember when they were talking about it at work yesterday, someone was like, oh, he knew he was going to go or whatever. How do you know? Because I think people know when the Grim Reaper is knocking on their door and it's like, okay, that time is coming. Like, I've already accomplished all the things that I've accomplished. And Ozzy has had like a full life. And so he knew it was coming. And the fact that he held on long enough so he could appear at this farewell concert and put on one final show, excuse me, it's just like hats off to him. So then Jack White went and posted he made it on Instagram. Then the official social media accounts for Rob Zombie posted a carousel of images of Osbourne, adding, "Goodbye, Ozzy. Thanks for everything. It was always a blast being around you. You will be missed." So, and it's funny how I'm doing all this talk and I forgot to put his picture up. I was like, wait a minute, did I put up some? Okay, so now Elton John said, "So sad to hear the news of Ozzy Osbourne passing away. He was a dear friend and a huge trailblazer who secured his place in the pantheon of rock gods, a true legend. He was also one of the funniest people I've ever met. I will miss him dearly. To Sharon and the family, I send my condolences and love." Questlove shared on Instagram, "Long live the Oz and rest in melody." British rock singer Youngblood paid tribute to Osbourne, who he last saw at Black Sabbath's final concert in July. Youngblood presented Osbourne with a cross necklace that he had custom made, returning the gesture since Osbourne had previously gifted him the cross off his neck. Youngblood wrote, quote, "I didn't think you would leave so soon. The last time we met, you were so full of life and your laugh filled up the room. But as it is written with legends, they seem to know things that we don't. I will never forget you. You will be in every single note I sing and with me every single time I walk on stage. Your cross around my neck is the most precious thing I own. You asked me once if there was anything you could do for me, and I said then, as I will say now, for all of us, the music was enough. You took us on your adventure, an adventure that started it all. And that was the one thing I love about Ozzy Osbourne. Everybody says that like he would literally give you the shirt off his back, that he was a kind soul. And it's always people don't realize this, but a lot of people who are considered, when people look at rock singers who do things like biting backs off heads or write things about Lucifer and Satan and all that stuff, there was they're devil worshipers, they're evil spirits is gonna go up in them and the hoodoo and the voodoo and all that. It's like a lot of times out of 10, a lot of the people that perform heavy metal music or that sort of, they're the most down to earth, nicest people. I ain't say all of them. I said some of them. And from what I've heard is that Ozzy is was one of the good ones. Now, Ronnie Wood of the Rolling Stones said in a tweet that he was very sad to hear the death of Ozzy Osbourne and said what a lovely goodbye concert he had to Back to the Beginning in Birmingham. Nancy Sinatra said on Twitter, so sad for all of you. His energy will soar through the universe and live on forever. Flavor went in. Hold on, let me pull up this one because he was on the good old Twitter and posted this one where it says, "Man, real heartbroken over the passing of Ozzy Osbourne. We go way back, and it was a real honor to watch him get inducted into the Rock Hall of Fame last year. Sending my love and prayers to Sharon and his kids and the whole family. R.I.P." So there he is with Jelly Roll and Flavor Flav, or as Matt Rife called him on his comedy tour that he's currently on, Shrimp Roll, because he lost a lot of weight. So, and then you have on the other side, you have just him with Flav, just Flav and Ozzy Osbourne. Will Van Halen, who has his own rock band, said, "Legend, thank you for everything, Ozzy." Josh Brolin posted, "What a talent and what an impact on me and so many others that found it him wait that found him wait what a talent and what an impact on me and so many others that found him a okay, you should have made sure you proofread before you hit send. It said that found in him a thriving misfit with the voice of the grimy blood in our darkest vein. He was circus and theater and love and loyalty and the everyman's talent." So there was that. Even Gavin Newsom, the governor of California, jumped in on the line and said Ozzy Osbourne was a man of multitudes, larger than life, yet honestly human. From California state as a global influence, his impact is undeniable. His legacy will live on through his music, his fans, and his family. And last but certainly not least, we also have Pride of Gypsies, aka Jason Momoa, who said the following on Instagram. He said, "Love you at Ozzy Osbourne, all my aloha at Sharon Osbourne and Ohana, so grateful, RIP." So there was a lot of, the tributes kept pouring in. We had there is a separate article that I did link in with the article that I did from Variety, I believe, where it had like the whole, Black Sabbath band put in all their condolences and all the, the full lengths and stuff they said. Even Variety magazine came out and said something. And talking about how Osbourne entered the room near noon in a bathrobe, having just woken up wearing loads of jewelry and accessories and a lot of gold, though adding that Osbourne was perfectly nice, perfectly friendly. Meanwhile, fans gathered at the Hollywood Walk of Fame in LA, where they laid flowers on the star dedicated to Osbourne, saying Osbourne was more than a rock legend. He was a cultural icon who reshaped music and defied expectations. And this is what Anna Martinez, the Vanguard's producer, said. And that's absolutely true. And, they've given us songs such as Paranoid, War Pigs, Iron Man, like so many great songs. And you've heard the Iron Man song, like it was in the Iron Man movie. War Pigs has been used to death in a lot of movies and things. So everybody knows a damn Ozzy Osbourne or a Black Sabbath song. So one of the things I will say is that my experience that I had with Ozzy Osbourne, no, I didn't meet him in person, but my experience was I had the pleasure, because how I got introduced to, I wasn't really familiar with a lot of Ozzy's music, but because I came up in the era of like his kids, that would be Jack and Kelly. I watched the reality show, so that's how I got introduced to the Ozzy. I was like, just like they were kind of. I guess maybe it was because I was obsessed with the Addams Family, and then kind of what they reminded me of. So the movie with Christina Ricci and Angelica Houston, Raul Julia, not the TV show because that was before my time, but the movies I was like obsessed with. So then when I saw like this family, and I was like, oh, they make music. That's what introduced me to their music. And then there was this girl that was interested in me. Yes, I was pulling the girls and the homosexuals. um, we went to go to Ozfest out in Jersey, where I finally got to see Ozzy perform. And there was a bunch of bands. It was Andrew WK, System of a Down. There was a bunch of great bands out there. I think even Rob Zombie performed. So yeah, that was my opportunity of like, I had never been to a rock festival before. And that was like my first taste of that whole thing. So me having that attachment to um the Osbournes reality show on MTV, that's what got me interested in their music because I am a child of the 80s and 90s, so I grew up like the MTV era. That was kind of like what we did. So yeah. So R.I.P. Ozzy. Another good one gone, but now you don't have to suffer anymore because you had the Parkinson's and all that stuff. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story in regards of we lost an icon in the rock music world? So, RIP rock legend. So, yeah, I definitely want to hear from y'all. Let me know what your thoughts are on this story in the comments down below. You said, I know the topic will be brought up later, but I just saw the picture of it. Oh, you talking about the picture that I posted on social media? I said the same thing, quiet as it's kept. But, I guess when there's slim pickings for a lot of you trans girls, particularly you trans women of color, y'all would just pick whatever is going to come your way. We all can't get an Electra Abundance and pull a Chris Maloney. I'm guessing, I'm guessing we'll get an Ozzy tribute. I mean, it would only make sense that they would do that. And y'all got plenty of time to pull that together. There will probably be a Connie Francis, Brian Wilson, Ozzy Osbourne performance tribute. I don't. Well, yeah, they could definitely do that at the Grammys, but yeah, VMAs I could definitely see them do because the Osbournes are part of the MTV family, so I could definitely see them doing that. The nicest people you will ever meet listen to metal, be accused of being a Satanist or have a gothic style. They don't bother anybody. Yeah, they don't. Because all the people that was at that Ghost concert, a lot of them was relatively nice. So funny enough, heavy metal punks, goths, and emos are one of the kindest but misunderstood people you'll meet, all because their exterior looks intimidating. Well, that's always the case. Meanwhile, you see a bunch of people out here in jeans, t-shirt, and them damn MAGA hats that be the worst. And you said, meanwhile, you see a clean, a clean-cut, perky, or bubbly person can have the most hidden, dark, and sadistic sides to them that many never think of, and some are really good at masquerading it. Absolutely. In the words of Gia, absolutely. I was like, do I look brighter? Because look, I got 2 ring lights now. And I bought a microphone, but I ain't buy all the pieces apparently. So now I'm still back to the old one. But I'm like, some people said that my audio be sounding like I be talking on the phone, but y'all don't seem to have an issue with the audio. If you do, let me know. Yes, he was. Justice for Eddie Munson. I'm still mad they killed him off last season's Stranger Things. But anyway, such is life. Now speaking of what's the Little Mermaid say? Clean cut, perky, or bubbly people could have the most hidden sadistic, sides to themselves. Should we get into Donald Trump? Because it wasn't that long ago, once upon a time, not that long ago, he went in and decided to sink his teeth into the Colbert Show, which we just heard a couple of days ago that was canceled. And it's funny how some people say, "Oh, we can't prove it." I'm like, child, first of all, this is where the gloves come on. I'm not sitting there biting my tongue and all other stuff. Maybe because you people in legacy media are scared to say the quiet part out loud, but we know this has something to do with the fact that there was some type of bribery going on. Paramount is trying to get this merger going with, and I'm about this close. of canceling Paramount Plus. The only reason why I'm keeping it is because of Drag Race. But other than that, it's just like I'm this close of getting rid of it because now they removing DEI initiatives. So y'all doing all this stuff to appease this moron in the White House. So at first, what it was that they're trying to get this merger approved with Skydance because apparently what the thing is that I didn't know that companies like studios and things of that nature need the federal approval from the government in order to get a merger. So they're trying to get this merger going. Skydance is interested in merging with Paramount. They're talking about they removing DI initiatives. So what, y'all don't want diversity over there? Like nobody's saying that it's, and we already know who really benefits from DI initiatives. And, you know, any kind of inclusion of the other. It ain't 9 times out of 10 people of color. It's mostly white folks. Y'all be the ones that benefit from it, but then y'all be the main ones bitching and moaning because y'all, whatever. I'm not even getting into that part. But it isn't, we can't just say it's a coincidence that part of that deal was, oh, because Stephen Colbert's been going in on him the hardest, that it's like, oh, you have to cancel that show. And I'm so glad that so many of the other late night people stood in solidarity with Stephen Colbert, everyone from Anderson Cooper to Andy Cohen to Jimmy Fallon and all of them. They all came on the show and they showed their support for him. So I love the fact that they all band together to show their support. It's like, well, you come for me, you come for all of us. And now it's like when everybody stopped talking about Trump, then what? He gonna lose his shit because he can't go 5 minutes without his name being in the people's mouth. Nobody, no president, no shade, but no president should be talked about this damn much. They shouldn't. But he likes it. But then tries to act like he doesn't. But if you say anything negative, then he wants to talk about, oh, I'm gonna revoke your citizenship, which they cannot do, by the way. And now you're trying to get people fired. So now it seems like his, it's not just going to end at CBS. Now he's going after the women of The View because Joy Behar says something that hurt widow feelings. So let's get into the story. So apparently earlier today on The View, I didn't see the episode. I was doing a little catching up on it earlier. So apparently the White House, all the morons that's running around and they're funking it up, lashed out at Joy Behar that she said on ABC's The View that Donald Trump's attacks on his predecessor, Barack Obama, were motivated by jealousy while noting the current president's role in the attack on the U.S. Capitol on January 6, 2021. So, yeah, the same one that was sitting there kikiing like he wanted to eat Obama ass, literally, at the funeral of Jimmy Carter. Now, all of a sudden, you want to try to get Obama arrested and saying that he has something to do with the Epstein files, which we all know, sir, you were in the Epstein files. From what I had heard, he's known since May. We're in July. 2 months, he's known that he's in the Epstein files. He knows he's in the Epstein files. He's known for years he's been in the Epstein files. He's been on that Epstein plane. Him and Melania, they fucked on it. When they first met, he clapped them old flabby ass cheeks of hers on that damn plane. So he knows Epstein intimately. I'm not saying they fucked, but he knows him intimately, meaning that they're really close. Epstein knows where all them bodies is buried, hence why he's been buried. And you can't tell me that man unalived himself because he didn't. Even Jeffrey Epstein's brother has come out and said he was murdered. And we know he has been. Because when Epstein was murdered, when Epstein ended up dead, who was the president? It wasn't Biden. It wasn't Obama. It's this idiot on the left. So, with all this other stuff he's saying, and look, and y'all looking at both sides of his ear right now, if he got shot in the ear, where that piece that's supposed to be off. Hence why he wasn't shot. And I find it funny that of all the stunts and shows this man has been putting before us for the past 6 months, the Epstein files is the Achilles heel for the MAGA movement. That really boggles my mind. Oh, now that's the thing that y'all thought we were lied to because we really trusted y'all. No, y'all were so deep in the cult. You knew that y'all screwed up, but to admit defeat, to admit that you were wrong, that's just something that y'all can't live with. But no, you're gonna have to live with this foolishness like we're gonna have to live with this foolishness for the next 3.5 years. So it all started the day prior when Trump alleged that Obama was trying to lead a coup in the past and accused Obama of treason. So now you're just pulling things out of your little funky behind because you know that man don't white correctly. Word on the curb is he wear pamper. But they said, first of all, who tried to overthrow the government on January 6th? Who was that again? That was not Obama. That's what Behar said at Trump in response via Entertainment Weekly. The thing about him is he's so jealous of Obama because Obama is everything that he is not. Trim, smart, handsome, happily married, and can sing Al Green's song, Let's Stay Together, better than Al Green. And Trump cannot stand it. It's driving him crazy. I also think you need to add to the fact that if we're going to talk about deportations, Obama is still known as a deporter in chief. No other president has deported more immigrants than Obama. And let's also put that in there. So Obama's not perfect. Y'all trying to make it seem like, because that's the one thing that irritates me about The View, y'all act like Obama walks on water. He doesn't. I don't want to sit here and get all into his politics and things, because that's not what we're here for. But what we can say is that yeah, so now what I feel like with the alligator Auschwitz and all this other mess, which they're talking about they're going to be building more in other states, so it's not just going to be in Florida, or is it Texas? I think it's Texas. But then again, I also heard that they were building, that there were people that were standing outside of alligator, I'm calling it alligator Auschwitz because it's literally a damn concentration camp. Not a damn Alcatraz. It's Auschwitz. You literally have built a concentration camp to put immigrants in, and they're not all criminals. You just rounding people up without due process. You got ICE out here with masks and stuff on their face, not showing who they are, not showing credentials, just grabbing people, no paperwork. You're sending them up to this, place. Nobody knows who they are, what's going on, feces everywhere. There's bugs and things in the food. Yeah, I'm hearing all of these stories that's coming out. And you built this in a couple of days. They say Rome wasn't built in a day, but Alligator Auschwitz was apparently. And then we already saw like with the rain and everything. So I think it is Florida. With all the rain and everything, it's been flooding. So this is unconstitutional. I cannot wait till all of these people in this administration, him, Pete Hegseth, Pam Bondi, um, who else? Don't Mike Johnson ass up in there, their little four-eyed ass. Throw him. They all need to be thrown under the jail. And the next president that comes in and just like, well, we don't look backwards, we look forwards. Then you know what? You need to go to jail too, because for you to sit and just allow this to happen, and you and a new person in power and don't do anything about this or have them be held accountable for the vitriol and the torture that they did to the American people and immigrants who aren't even criminals for 4 years. And we fast forward in 2028 or 2029 when we get the next president. If y'all don't do something about all this other stuff this man is doing and undo all of that, then it's going to be hell to pay. And I really hope the American people hold the next president accountable for not letting them pay for the shit that they're doing to people now. Because that would anger me. That all the trauma and all the dirt and the dust that they're going to leave behind, the stench of burning flesh that they're going to leave behind with the next administration to clean up, because it's going to be years of cleanup that they're going to have to do with this mess, this disaster. His favorite word, because that's what he is. He's a disaster. And now you're going up there because you don't like anybody saying anything about you negative. But if you wasn't out here being a chaos demon, if you wasn't out here causing so much chaos and negativity and leaving it all in your wake, then they wouldn't be saying all this stuff. You had an opportunity in your second term to do good. He was said it in an interview with Fox News, and I can't believe he said that shit with a straight face. I want to be seen as a good person. Well, when are you going to actually wake up and be that person that you think in your mind you want to be? Or are you just not capable of being a good person, of showing that you have something called compassion, but you don't because you're a sociopath, you're egomaniacal, and you're on that Epstein's list. There was even something that I posted on my social media. Hold on, because I remember, who was it? It's funny how the minute I talked about Paramount Plus rolling back that DEI initiative, that damn thing popped right up in my feed. Oh yeah, so according to World Star Hip Hop, they said Uncle Luke said Trump party had girls that looked not of age and too much freaky behavior. Even he walked out early. So the article said In a resurfaced interview from 8 years ago, Uncle Luke said he attended a Trump party back in the day with Eddie Murphy and Mike Tyson, but left after only 45 minutes. He described the scene as filled with naked women in different rooms, wild sexual activity, and vibes he didn't feel comfortable with. Luke said the women looked too young and there was a lot of things going on, and he didn't want to be caught in the middle of anything illegal or extortion worthy. I ain't going to jail behind nobody, he said. So with that coming out, Trump and Epstein was out here with their little white collar equivalent of a freak off. That's literally what was going on, according to Uncle Luke. So let's get to the rest of the story, because you already know when it comes to Trump, I'm going to be having so much stuff to say about all this foolishness. So now, after what Joy said, White House spokesperson Taylor Rogers, how am I just not hearing about this person? Because they be having so many damn people running over their damn mouth in that White House. I didn't even know Taylor Rogers was the damn spokesperson. I thought it was that Caroline Levitt broad who looked like she done ate half the damn White House. Do you notice, like, in the last 6 months, it looked like she been stress eating? Unless she's pregnant, but she been looking bigger than usual, because I don't recall her being as big as she is. Like, I'm noticing her cheeks is looking a little full. But anyway, so it said, this is what he said in a statement to Variety. Joy Behar is an irrelevant loser suffering from a severe case of Trump derangement syndrome. It's no surprise that the View's ratings hit an all-time low last year. She should self-reflect on her own jealousy of President Trump's historic popularity before his show is the next to be pulled off air. Now, that is laughable because, number one, Joy Behar is not jealous. Who in a right mind, right logical mind, or sane mind would be jealous of him? In the words of Coco Montrese, look how orange you fucking look. That skin looks like leather. Literally. Like, he looks like he needs about 8 facelifts. So if you want to sit up here and try to talk about somebody jealous, sir, nobody is jealous of this man. Not with that little bird's nest he got on the top of his head, the tie longer than any other tie that I've seen. The man allegedly walks around wearing Depends because he can't go to the bathroom correctly, got swollen ass ankles, probably got gout, and then trying to use whatever that little ailment that they were trying to throw in our face as a distraction from the Epstein files. But the good thing I will say about the maggots, as we like to call them, is that y'all are not letting y'all foot off that man's neck in regards to this whole Epstein file. And it's frustrating him to the point where he's cussing out his own base. And is this the thing that's actually going to wake y'all up and realize that this man don't give a good goddamn about y'all? He don't. He don't care about nobody but himself and how much money he can grift off of not only his supporters, but the entire government. This man has put this country up for sale. Like the good old whore that he is, and married too. Because then they said they want to name the Kennedy honors after Melania. What the hell has that bitch done? Except slobbing a little shrivelly knob just so that her and her family can get a goddamn green card. So if you ain't really contributed nothing besides making sure that your jaw don't get locked from all that damn baloney washing that you doing. Y'all know what a baloney wash is. Or $5 sucky. So when you sit up there and talk about historic popularity, I've seen the polls lately. Where is he popular? He might be still popular amongst the MAGA movement, but outside of that, no. Independents are pissed off at him right now. Democrats, you already know how they feel. And even his own base is pissed. But there's been people, Charlie Kirk, a bunch of people have been going around speaking to the constituents about how they are mad right now. So y'all, Trump derangement syndrome, it seems like y'all got derangement and delusion syndrome over there in that White House. Y'all so deep in that damn cult and in the bubble that y'all don't even know how the American people are feeling right now. And they not feeling Trump. So, and that's what the tea leaves said. Like, get outside and touch grass. Maybe you'll be, you can get out of that little stupor of delusion that you're in right now. And it's funny how they call him the relevant loser, and somehow that the ratings was at an all-time low. Now, y'all know that's a good goddamn lie, because when we talked about The View a couple of months ago, the ratings were through the roof. They're the #1 daytime talk show out right now. No other show is beating The View. So how are their ratings tanking? And it's just like Stephen Colbert's ratings were pretty good, but they pulled it off the air. But that's because Paramount is doing a little quid pro quo. You scratch our back, we'll scratch yours. Oh, you give us this merger goes through, we'll do what you want us to do. We'll cancel this show, we'll cancel that show. And now even Jon Stewart's afraid that the Daily Show might go up there. But if it does, they'll find other ways to get their voices heard. Like a lot of people, when they get fired, they start becoming podcasters. So maybe we'll see him do that. So yeah. So now they were saying that Variety reached out to the View's spokesperson for comment. The show's representative refuted Trump's claims about its ratings by telling EW that The View is up in total viewers and women 18 to 49 versus the comparable weeks last season to its most watched in 4 years in season to date. The View is ranking number 1 in households and total viewers among all network daytime shows and news programs for the 5th straight season. Now, Behar and her fellow hosts on The View, such as Whoopi Goldberg, have long been critical of Trump to the point where Whoopi can refer to him as who you know who. She don't even say his name. Or as I like the women over there on the I've Had It podcast, they call him Taco Tits. And they said, so yeah, they regularly speak out against him during the show. Trump has been on a tear lately against talk show hosts in the wake of CBS canceling Stephen Colbert's The Late Show before he said The View would get pulled next. So Trump boasted that Jimmy Kimmel's ABC late night show will be next to go in the untalented late night sweepstakes. It's funny how somebody who has absolutely no talent to speak of is always talking about somebody doesn't have talent. He's so thin skinned. Like his skin is about as thin as that bird's nest on his head. It's like you really cannot take any kind of constructive criticism. I just don't understand like how people can walk around. Well, no, nobody can say nothing about me. So if he acts like this around normal, regular people that he don't know, can you imagine like how his family really feels about him? Has anybody ever thought about that? Like, how does his sons and his daughter and well, we already know how Melania feels. We see it on her face every time she in close proximity of that monster. And when she ever in 6 feet within that man, like a grinder, like your grinder going off, you already know how we see her face utter disgust. But girl, you made your bed, you got to lie in it. Because that's who you decide to spread your legs for out of all the rich men in the world. That's the one you decide to settle with so you get your goddamn 3 hots of cotton and a damn green card. So deal with it. Now, in regards to this, I really hope that a lot of the media don't push back. ABC execs, you need to have the back of the women at The View. Do not get into this man's foolishness because I don't think there needs to be any kind of merged permission, federal, whatever that they need. So whoever, Bob Iger and all of y'all over there at Disney, I hope y'all are protecting your talent and making sure that you're not going to let this man intimidate y'all because you have a job. Even if you don't have a journalism degree, if you're going to be doing pundit talk, you're on a network, y'all need to be protecting your talent and allowing them to speak freely because our free speech cannot be up for ransom because some sensitive ass, man with swollen ankles can't take constructive criticism. If you can't take criticism, then you're in the wrong damn business. You don't need to be the president. But quiet as it's kept, he didn't want to be president anyway. This is all the rules because his ass knew he was going to federal prison, and he did what he had to do to make sure he would not sit up there rotting under the damn jail where he needs to be, if not worse. They ended up sending his ass to Alligator Auschwitz. That'd be a good damn sentence. When you leave office, if you make it through these 4 years, based off of your health or whatever. Allegedly. But if you can't once you get out in these 4 years, that's where they need to send you, the very prison you built for them other people. So you get a taste of your own damn medicine. So I say all this to say, with all of that being said, what do you guys think of this story regarding Donald Trump? And they had this whole situation where a Wall Street Journal published a story a couple of days ago that claimed that Trump sent a letter to Jeffrey Epstein in 2003 that was included in a birthday album of well wishes, and they were exposing him in a lot of ways. And now he's suing Rupert Murdoch. So anybody who's saying anything about him, he want to sue him, or it's always some stupidness. But That look, this is all because he wants to keep people distracted from these Epstein files. It's not working. You've pretty much y'all run out of options. I don't know how y'all keep all this ruse going. Like y'all gonna run out of stuff eventually. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Ooh, child of ghetto. We got a lot of comments. um oh, did he? He said audio seems fine to me. Well, that we gonna stick with this mic. He said on stage in fascism, removing platforms of people who challenge you. Or you know what's coming. This whole authoritative attitude. Hello, lovely people. Robert's in the building. Hi, Robert. And Democrats need to have a new message. Not GOP is bad, because even if Kamala was telling, don't even get me started, because I saw this recent story where they were talking about that they were discussing what went wrong with the Democrats, but didn't want to discuss what went wrong with the Democrats. If you're going to talk about what went wrong with the campaign between Biden and Kamala and stuff, you have to address them as well. So if y'all keep doing this, y'all going to keep losing. Oh, by the way, Robert, I hate your guts. And I'm going to tell you why. Because I just got my schedule today. Guess what show I'm working? He was like, oh, I bet you they're gonna make you work Katy Perry. I'm working Katy Perry. I was like, which show? I mean, because they didn't give me Kesha. They don't be giving me the other shows that I be wanting to work, but yeah, a child, when I saw this, I said, they gave me Katy Perry. Damn you. So when I looked out of all the gigs I got all the gigs except 3. The only ones I'm not working is the NYPD graduation, which is probably a good thing, because then like the Laverne Cox, I might try to find me a MAGA Republican police officer to hunch. You know, once he gets his diploma. So the only shows I didn't get was like, yeah, the NYPD graduation, the Billy Idol concert, Disney Descendants Zombies is doing a show, and one of the Lady Gaga concerts. So I'm literally working 3 out of her 4. I'm like, damn. Not that I'm complaining, because you know what? I can sit and watch the show numerous times and take it all in, all the stuff that I missed, and it would allow me to actually give y'all a review. Similar to what I did with Kylie Minogue when I watched her, when I did 2 nights of her show. So I can actually watch her show, see all the parts that once you get past the excitement of the first night, and then, the other night's like, okay, now I'm like in the pocket. I could actually sit and study everything and know what parts and all the other stuff. And so, yeah, so it's like I'm doing The Who, Dierks Bentley, who I believe is a country artist, 3 Lady Gaga shows, Zakir Khan, who I believe is a Zionist. I did say 3 Lady Gaga shows, and Tony Hinchcliffe is doing 2 freaking shows, which I tried to get out of those 2, but they were like, nope, denied. Oh, yeah, I read that one. He said her neutral centrist stance is the main reason I didn't want to vote for the heifer. At least Trump can pick a side, yeah, and I think that's what a lot of people are saying. Her neutral centrist stance is the main reason I don't want to vote for the heifer. Oh, wait, I did read that. Steve Bannon did say if anybody can destroy. From beyond the grave. It's also frustrating Mike Johnson that he closed Congress early and apparently they can't rename it. It's in law and the paperwork, because yeah, it's like they try to just come in and just change everything. It's like, no, it's not happening. He needs to worry about all the okay. And the fact that he's all over it. No, he's not healthy. You can definitely tell he is. I remember somebody saying that they think that his mental deterioration is due to untreated syphilis. I could believe it, because you want to know something? I remember I said I wasn't going to tell y'all about a certain person's health update, but since we're talking about it, the rumor is that is why Matthew Anderson is in a hospice. It's because his mind went bad from untreated syphilis, and that is one of the symptoms where it's like you start to lose your marbles, and apparently this was happening to him. It said. But I don't think that Rupert Murdoch is going to be like, he probably looking at him like, boy, if you don't sit your fat ass down somewhere. Notice that libs of TikTok and other conservative platforms have it. Of course they are. They all do it. And then you have Nick Fuentes, who keep flip-flopping back and forth. 1 minute he going in on Trump, the next minute, I'm just gonna believe that the other people are gonna give us I was like, okay, shut up. Like, and then people are, look, Nick Fuentes, I'm like, no, he's not, because then an hour later he's gonna flip right back. Like, they all do the same thing. They go based off vibes. Not only a R word and the other R word, but a possible PDF file. Okay? He's all the things, the worst things. The first lady and president of France. Oh yeah, I did see that Macron and his wife, who apparently likes putting paws on her man when they're on planes, is suing Kundis. And I'm like, child, first of all, Candace need to be worrying about her own damn ovaries instead of worrying about what another woman got between her damn legs. Also saw a vid of Jeff Epstein asking him a question about, have you ever socialized with Donald Trump in the presence of people? Of course. Look, the word on the curb was that a lot of times when they would do those little pageants, those were little fronts for like them scoping out young girls and things. Which kind of makes me believe it, because Trump did run, what was it, the Miss USA pageant? Or Miss America? That was his thing. Even if it's Obama is guilty of the Russia lies, even Miss Lindsey, not Miss Lindsay, that Trump's verdict also goes for Obama and back presidents. Yeah, that's what I said. Like, you can't go after past presidents and things. And so you trying to talk about you want to throw him in jail? Like, it's not going to happen, dummy. It's funny, they put these things in place and think that it's gonna it won't affect me. Not have fun. There's so many. As for a requel sequel to Last Summer, I doubt it's happening. It might not. I mean, I don't know. I just wish that I know today Last Summer they would have just focused on the one movie instead of trying to set everything up for the sequel that we may never get. It just felt like the movie played too much in the fan service rather than telling a real good story, whatever. But it was entertaining. The show is fun. Katie is better on stage. Oh God, I'm sorry. You got to work with the racists. Oh, you talking about Tony Hinchcliffe? I'll deal with it. I always do. Nobody look. I look at it as at the end of the day when I have to work shows I'm not necessarily excited about. It's money, so I just put that in my head. It's a check, and I just go along with it. Hunter Biden, he's always been kind of like the Achilles heel to his own damn daddy. Like, he's the black sheep of the family. He lost his independent moderates and he lost Gen Z after winning the Capitol. And first of all, they basically told young people that they don't like them, calling y'all lazy, said all y'all do is play video games and all this other stuff. They don't think that being on, like, what I do is considered a job. They think we just sitting up here on our ass all day. It's like, yeah, technically I am sitting on my ass as I sit up here running my mouth for a couple of hours, but I get paid to do it. And here's the thing. If I got to pay taxes on doing this, it's a damn job. Because I pay taxes on doing this show every year. So I don't know what the hell they talking about. It's like, this is literally somebody that don't understand anything about YouTube, being a commentator, being a pundit, people who play games. You know how much money they make on it? Like, you just had T-Pain did a whole thing where he was talking about he wants to get more rappers and musicians to understand, like, you can make so much money being a Twitch streamer. I mean, Hassan Piker makes a lot of money doing Twitch streams. So he said the fallout of their friendship is basically because Epstein bought the property that Trump wanted. Well, it's always about, that man's always about like colonization and conquering. He just wants to buy up everything and upstaging his friends. There were certain things where I remember Kyle Kalinske was talking on his show that literally Trump would bait a lot of his male friends and stuff on the phone and have them set up situations where Trump would have sex with the wives of a lot of his male rich friends. And they do it. They all swapping wives and slinging all kinds of crazy stuff. I saw an article about Nicholas and Lola's opening scene that was scrapped. There were 2 comments about how they were the only reason they wanted to watch the movie. Yeah, that's why I was like, when they cut that out, I was like, okay, that was stupid. But look, I'm sure they got paid, because the minute you have to spew dialogue and you in a movie, you got to pay them for their time. But look, they done passed down the gene. You saying his grandfather had dementia. Look, they passed it down to him. Do they skip generations? I wonder. All right, y'all. So now let's go from one talk show host to another, and let's talk about Wendy Williams. How you doing? So it's been a minute since we talked about Miss Wendy, and now she's giving us a major update on her controversial guardianship. And it sounds like a legal war might be brewing within her situation. Now, Wendy Williams is preparing to go to court, but this time her attorney, Joe Tacopina, who I believe repped ASAP Rocky in his case, and you know he won, so that's why Wendy grabbed him, is planning on suing those responsible for her very scary guardianship. Now, in a conversation with TMZ, Williams and Tacopina was stopped leaving Fresno by Scotto, that's Rosanna Scotto's restaurant, from Fox, in New York City on Tuesday, July 22nd, following a birthday celebration for the radio TV icon. Now, when asked about what's next in Williams' ongoing legal battle, here's what Tacopina declared. Now, I do have the clip, courtesy of TMZ's IG. So hold on. We'll go over to the gram and we'll come back and talk. Please hold.
We missed you going in. You look so different. I was like your work clothes.
Yeah, it's not my ASAP Rocky suit, huh?
I love that. So we have to ask you, Joe, what's next? I mean, what's next in trying to get her out of the guardianship? I know it's a very big question, but
what's next is hopefully justice. I mean, it's been so long, and I'm not a guardianship attorney. I'm Wendy's personal attorney, but this process is really despicably slow because she's in a facility. And Wendy's Wendy. We've had conversations over the course of 6 months. She's the same Wendy Williams that you know from TV.
Yeah.
Right? And so she belongs in a facility like, I belong in a facility. Well, actually, that might be a good example. Some might argue I belong in a facility. But this is a person who is control of her faculties and is a great human being. And it sickens me, honestly. This is not even about a case for me. It's about a cause. And I'm going to do everything.
I just had a birthday and I'm still in guardianship. If that doesn't say enough, I don't know what does.
Now I have a question. How many other people have reached out to you asking for your help? Because when she had her protest outside of her building, a lot of people were coming up to me saying, I support Wendy because I'm going through this too with someone I love. Have you gotten phone calls from people?
Oh, so many. Right now, my focus is on Wendy, and I have to get her through this.
Right.
I'll deal with that later, but I will tell you this. It is scary, this guardianship process. Once you get in the vortex of the guardianship proceeding, it's hard to get out. Even if you're like Wendy.
Yeah, famous. Everyone knows.
Believe me, I had Presto Viscados because I am allowed. It's not because I should be. I look beautiful because I work out, because that's all I do in the building. And I know that for a fact.
Right.
I've been working out for years. However, that's all I do when I'm locked in this building.
Right. Now I have a question. I know it's kind of a tricky question, but can we see a potential lawsuit down the line given the way she was?
Those who are responsible for her status, her basically incarceration, will be held accountable. There's no question about that. My goal right now, and the priority, is to get her back home. Wherever home is, not there. Which come go as she goes.
Right here in New York, where I'm working, and what kind of stuff I want to do. As a matter of fact, we just met somebody very familiar with. Well,
she wants to get back to work, and she should get back to work.
Right.
People love her. I get more calls in support of her than I've ever had for any client, ever.
We missed you guys.
I was like, Wendy, don't be out here telling all your damn business, because these people gonna be out here all nosy and stuff, spilling your tea. But shout out to Joe Tacopina. I'm like, Joe look like he will help you beat your case and then beat your ass afterwards. He definitely look like he got hands. But yeah. Regardless of what's going on with Wendy and everything, I definitely feel like, she deserves to not be caught up in this crazy conservatorship. She needs to be around people and with people who genuinely love and care for her. And look, she's a grown woman. Just like y'all let Britney out of that conservatorship and you see how she ended up. But look, at the end of the day, she a grown woman. This is her life. That's her decision. She should be able to do what she wants to do and walk freely. Now, if anything happened to her, that's on her. She's an adult. This is her life. This is her decision. So, Wendy shouldn't be caught up in this situation. And if she wants to get back to work and she's able to get out here and do the things that she needs to do work-wise, then by all means do that. Do I think Wendy Williams will go back to being the sharp, the sharpest thing in the china shop? like she was back in the day when we all used to live for Wendy Williams. No, I think there is probably some damage done to her due to for years of alcohol abuse. But if she's able to still deliver the hot topics with a co-host, because I do not think Wendy could do it by herself. I do think that she's going to need somebody there to kind of shepherd her and banter with. The old Wendy where she can sit on that purple chair and just talk, the whole half the damn show, we be engaged, that Wendy is gone. But, we see a little of the things about her pop out every now and again. So shout out to Joe for, really going in and taking it upon himself to get Wendy free. Because she definitely needs to be free. We don't like the Sabrinas and all them over there that's got her caught up in this hot old mess. Now, before we go, I do want to play y'all this thing because apparently Tyson Beckford took his behind over there to the Breakfast Club and was talking down bad about Wendy and said that her current situation that she's going through, he said this is her karma for spreading homosexual rumors about him, and said that he pressed her ex-husband Kevin and was like, oh, because, Kevin was basically her Kenneth Petty, except Kevin wasn't out here dealing with underage girls like Nikki's husband allegedly was, according to the court papers. But he said that he always kept his pow-pow on him because, the type of people that Kevin ran with, and, like, the reason why I brought the whole thing, because, like, Kenneth is supposed to provide protection for Nikki. Kelvin, I'm sorry, because we call him Kelvin Hunter was providing that security for Wendy. So here's what he said down at the hold on, I was like, where's the damn thing? I don't forget how to do my show. Oh wait, let me close this. That's what it was. I had something else open when I shouldn't have had that open. Okay, so now let's go over to this clip over at the Breakfast Club, courtesy of the Neighborhood Talk, and then we'll come back and talk. Please hold.
My jersey been retired a long time ago.
Yeah,
but
too,
I wasn't no player. I didn't. No, okay. But you Tyson Beckford.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing. They put that label on you, and you stuck with it. Because there's only two labels they hit you with in the industry. One, you're either gay, or two, you're a playboy, or what's the third one? Oh, you just like white women. I dated like 3 white women my whole life, and then boom, I'm stuck with this title. Right. So another reason I got on the show was to try to kill all of that stuff right there. Yeah. She's not around no more. She's not on radio no more. Which we know, that one started the rumor. I don't know why she started that rumor on me, but you know what? Karma hit your ass. Good for you.
God damn.
It's her birthday. No, I'm not. Hey,
damn.
No F's given. I'm gonna try not to swear.
Y'all had to made her. Yeah, it's her birthday. Y'all celebrate her birthday this week and all that.
I don't give up.
Tyson said, I don't care.
And me and Tretch feel the same way. Her karma's come to her. You just talking people business, making up stuff. You know what I'm saying? Why? To get clout, radio? Nah, stop that.
You want to know what's interesting?
Because I called Kevin in the street one day. Yeah, Kevin, you don't want this.
Her ex-husband?
Yeah, and then he gonna call like all my Jamaican crew and say, yo, go done the boy. Them say,
what?
Becky? No, sir. I would brethren that.
Where you caught him at?
Caught him at the car wash.
In Jersey?
Yeah, buddy.
And what happened?
Had that Glock on me.
What the hell?
Yeah.
What the hell's going on?
Oh, I stay with it.
In the podcast, you used to do that back in the day too. I didn't know.
What the hell?
I stay with it.
Of course, just hilarious. Enjoyed that part. You see her clapping like a damn seal?
I got license for Jersey, license for New York. I got license for everywhere. I got about 6 of them. Get me down there.
My jersey been retired a long time ago.
Yeah, me too, bro.
I wasn't no player. I didn't. No, but you Tyson Beckford.
Yeah, but.
All right, so y'all pretty much got the gist of that. But what the people were saying about this situation, and we can wrap this up. One person said Wendy may tell a joke, but she never told a lie. What you trying to say that there might be some? How you doing this with Tyson Beckford? Another person said y'all be wanting people to have empathy for those who didn't for them. Another person said, folks in the tri-state area know Radio Wendy before the Wendy Show. She was a menace. You'll be surprised how many legends from back in the day that feels exactly the same way. And that is so true because I do agree that there's a lot of people who are not aware of Hot 97 Wendy Williams, WBLS Wendy Williams. I was well aware of that side of Wendy because growing up in New York, that's what we listened to. When she was over at Hot 97 talking about everybody. And when she got fired because of Diddy and she had to go retreat to Philly, which we didn't even get that radio station. So I was, she was left for dead out in Philly. That's when we all done moved on with our lives until she circled her way back to New York and came over there at BLS, where she was doing her thing for a while. Then they brought in Charlemagne and the rest is history. And Lambert said, be careful if you truly know how karma works. And another person said Wendy didn't start that rumor, she just repeated it. But nevertheless, it's like that's not how karma works. Karma is not just, oh, you say something negative about somebody, so something negative is going to come back to you. That's not how that works. But this is how a lot of people, like Tyson Bedford and so many other simple-minded folks, they believe that this happens in that way. There was another thing. I saw that neighborhood talk was talking about Laverne Cox. I hate when y'all black bloggers or whatever be able to talk about LGBT stuff because we already know what it gives in the comments, particularly with a lot of you black women. So I just be hating when a lot of y'all jump in the comments because it's just gonna be nothing but homophobia, transphobia, all that shit. And it pisses me off, but that's why I ain't reading it. But to bring it back to this, also, somebody also said this. Now back to the other comments about Wendy Williams. And when, Joe Tacopina. Another person said, I love Joe. Let's get Wendy out of the conservatorship ASAP. Another person said, that kiss on the hand, man, let me handle this. And I was thinking that. I was like, I totally agree. That it was like, no, because when Wendy started talking, then it's like, that thing that's got you in this conservatorship is starting to show. And then she be just loud and you sound like you just learned English yesterday, like you had a stroke and you trying to learn to speak English all over again. Like that's what it was given with Wendy. It's like, ma'am, let me handle. And he was just being a gentleman about it. But two things that two different people said this, and this is why I agree with. Wendy ain't all there. I know we all want her to be, but she just isn't. And that is true. And another person said she don't need a facility, but she does need to be home with some type of medical care, which is what we said before, is like have someone who can handle her finances, have someone who can make sure she's on the up and up and making sure she's not out here drinking, that she's taking her medications, that she's going to her doctor's appointments, that she's getting all the things, the TLC that she definitely needs, because she's going to need that for the rest of her life. And if she wants to get out here and do a little something like a podcast, whatever, and you have her there with a co-host, preferably, because if you leave her to home devices, it's going to be a mess. So I do think that, Wendy definitely needs to not be in this conservatorship, because the way that with stuff that's going on up in there and all the treatment and stuff that she's saying that she's getting, I do think they need to take her out of that. But as far as like all the other stuff, just put things in place where she's being well taken care of and not having to just be out here like some person just wandering in the street by herself, don't know who she is or where she going. So I'll say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story regarding Wendy Williams? Joe Tacopina said, they're about to take a lot of the people who misdiagnosed her, who has got her caught up in this little luxury prison. They taking them to court. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Oh, she wins the case. Side note, the other day I saw Wendy at the you said I saw Wendy at the corner of my building. Then I found out bitch, you and Wendy Williams live in the same building. Let me find out you got you a deluxe apartment in the sky. Oh wait, she lives in that. Wait, your building is where all them crazy people live in? The dementia patients. You said okay. Oh, so now Tyson Beckford is talk. Okay. Who's Tyson Beckford talking about karma while also celebrating the decline in health of someone? Child, who's out here still talking about Tyson Beckford? I don't even know what he up to. I mean, back in the day, he was the quintessential male supermodel, along with Marcus Schenkenberg and a bunch of them. So, whatever happened to Marcus Schenkenberg? And we know Travis Fimmel became an actor. He was the Calvin Klein dude. And then it was the guy that played, oh my God, Smith, Jared on Sex and the City. He was a model. Radio Wendy was unfiltered and unhinged. She filtered herself when she came on TV. But the thing, Wendy reports the news and gossip. It's her job. That's what that it's her job. What she said isn't new. What others say. And Wendy will always throw a little extra seasoning on some of the stuff that she said. That's the difference. Is that people report things, but Wendy will always throw a little extra something else on it to spice it up. You saying, hold on. Mariah Carey's upcoming single has Kalani, and Kalani was just out here defending the trans girls and boys. Cassie sent Kesha flowers ahead of her sold-out show at Madison Square Garden tonight. Oh, that's nice. And she probably brought it up during the show. Wendy is out of pocket, but she has a lot on the celebrity she be talking about that event. Okay. I think because Wendy has a thing, the show should probably be over by now. I think because Wendy has this thing that when she speaks, it triggers and invokes something out of them. And it's easier for you to go on the Breakfast Club, messy behind show, and say that foolishness. Okay, y'all. Let's get into this witch, Blake Lively, because apparently she's thinking that she could sit up in here and try to silence us from talking about her basic ass. But whatever, bitch. We're going to be talking about you on this show. So now the legal drama between Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively continues with the actress's efforts to unveil an alleged smear campaign, which means she pulling stuff out her ass because ain't no way in hell. Because apparently, according to her, Justin Baldoni is paying people like myself to talk about her. And it's like, oh, we got a mind of our own. You're in the news. This is a story. This is a legal situation going on, and people are giving their opinions. There's some people who bring in attorneys to be able to speak the legal stuff. Then there's attorneys that's speaking on it that do YouTube channels. But we'll get into all of that in a second. So now it says the It Ends With Us actress made waves earlier this month for sending a subpoena to Google requesting the private details of 16 YouTubers and 20 Twitter users. She claimed that her former co-star had paid these content creators to damage her image. Sis, look, come close. Look closer. Bring your big ass head and that overbite to the goddamn screen so you can hear me correctly when I say this. You are not that important for someone to be able to spend coins on you to talk about and make stuff up about you. You, like everybody else that's in entertainment, celebritydom, and all that other stuff, when stuff comes out about you, people are going to talk about it. And if you're talking about damaging your image, would you pulling all of this? You're already doing that damage pretty much yourself. Justin doesn't have to do anything. And from what I heard, some of the people and this came out weeks ago, but I just didn't think it was that interesting to talk about. But since it is bringing into this, two of the celebrities that they mentioned that were talking about well-known, one would be Candace Owens, and the other would be Perez Hilton. So those are the two that she subpoenaed. So they said, however, many of the media personalities Blake Lively subpoenaed have called her legal demands into question, stressing that she had no right to invade their privacy. One YouTuber recently responded with a motion to dismiss her request, claiming that she was financially linked to the actress's husband, Ryan Reynolds. So a small-time YouTuber has hit back in a court filing after Blake Lively subpoenaed her bank details, accusing a Gossip Girl of pursuing desperate and paranoid tactics and submitting an official complaint against the actress's lawyer. Lively, who's 37, going on 87, has claimed throughout her ongoing legal battle that her co-star Justin Baldoni paid influencers to smear her following the premiere of 2024 DV drama film It Ends With Us. But in an ironic twist, Pro-Baldoni YouTuber Cassidy O'Connell says the only money she received is from the ads on her video starring Lively's husband, Ryan Reynolds. And that's because Ryan has a thing called Mint Mobile, and sometimes those ads will pop up on the feed. And here's the funny part: for a lot of us get paid from YouTube from the ad revenue. So whenever you watch a video all the way through and the ads pop in, like little ads or whatever the case is. Like if you're watching, like when I do the short clips and everything, a little ad pops up. I get paid for that. So the long form videos too, once I put it on my edits and then I hit the thing where it's like the green dollar sign comes in, then it's like, okay, this can be monetized. So Miss Lively, who still cannot accept the criticism against her online, is completely organic and of her own making, has made yet another move guaranteed to make matters far worse for her reputation by lashing out at content creators on social media. This is what O'Connell wrote in the filing published on the docket Friday. It ends with us actress Lively sparked uproar on social media when she sent a legal demand to Google for the financial and personal records of 60 YouTubers this month and to social media site Twitter for another 20 users. Some of her content creators told DailyMail.com they believe Lively is trying to prove a conspiracy that her legal nemesis Baldoni paid them to produce negative content about her, which they deny. So she's apparently running out in these streets, paranoid as hell over this situation. So yeah, and then here's the other one where you see Kundis Owens and I'm up in there. Okay, so now they said one creator who uses the pseudonym Cassidy O'Connell has fired a fiery response asking the judge to cancel her subpoena and accused Lively of a desperate and paranoid attempt to prove an imaginary smear campaign. O'Connell, who has around 16,000 subscribers to her YouTube channel, submitted in her initial response last Wednesday without a lawyer, saying she was trying to meet the tight court deadlines before she had a chance to hire an attorney. And this is what it seems like, is that someone who's in a powerful position, like Blake, and that's only because of who she's fucking, and she keeps pushing babies out with. Ryan Reynolds is the one with the money, not Blake. I mean, Gossip Girl and a couple of movies here and there that made no money at the box office, except It Ends With Us. That was the only thing that pretty much was a hit. And I think it was because it was on Netflix. I don't know if it wasn't even in the movies. I don't remember at this point. But it turned out to be a big box office success. And I'm wondering it was because of all the drama surrounding it. But for the most part, Blake, you are no box office draw. I mean, we already know that because of the tequila line, the Mint Mobile, Deadpool and Wolverine making all the money that it made. Ryan Reynolds is the one with the money. So maybe he's funding a lot of this foolishness to keep you happy and you off his back. Because word on the curb is he's also someone that's very jealous and very possessive. So, but then now it's like, it seems like this David and Goliath thing, similar to Justin Baldoni. Justin is somebody who's like this little guy in the industry. He doesn't have a lot of power. He's just someone trying to navigate and maneuver his way into the world. You literally trying to hijack his damn movie. And a bunch of other things was transpiring behind the scenes, allegedly. And now it's like you're trying to come after content creators because you don't like people reporting on things about you that's not in a positive light. So they went on and said she was scathing of Lively in her 11-page motion to quash the Google subpoena, which she filed alongside a copy of her California State Bar complaint against Lively attorney Ezra Hudson. No third party has access to add additional money to a YouTuber's monthly pay, she wrote, thrashing the theory that creators were paid by Baldoni. We were paid by AdSense, according to ads run on our channel. Ironically enough, Mint Mobile often runs ads on my channel featuring their spokesperson, Ryan Reynolds. So if I've been paid directly or indirectly by anyone involved in this case, it's former party Ryan Reynolds. So yeah, it's like with a lot of us, AdSense does pay us. And depending on the ad, we don't know what ads is going to pop up on our feed or whatever the case is. So she's like, technically, Ryan Reynolds paid me because his Mint Mobile ads is popping up in between my clips. So now they said Ryan Reynolds stars in Mint Mobile commercials and owned a reported $300 million stake in the company until 2023, which I think he ended up selling. And at one point, I remember that John Campion did like a whole damn monologue on his show because people was going in on him about this whole case, and he was like, "Well, what can I say about it? I mean, what do y'all expect me to just bring up about this case?" And I guess it's because Mint Mobile was sponsoring his show, so he's walking on a tightrope. You don't want to offend Ryan Reynolds and be in bad standing with him. So yeah, now I'm just gonna look down at the dirt, kick the dirt around with my foot, not get caught up in the drama, not get involved. It's kind of like DJ Khaled being Palestinian, not speaking up for his own damn people. Same thing. So they also went on to say, O'Connell argued that in her filing that it was an unwarranted invasion of privacy, pointing to Lively's own previous legal filings that asserted the actress's right to privacy when Baldoni tried to subpoena her data. So they said the subpoena to Google asked for O'Connell's address, bank details, subscriber records, and detailed information on her YouTube account. Yeah, I'd be like, none of your business, because you ain't getting shit from me. Ms. Lively herself makes a compelling argument that individuals have a constitutional right to privacy regarding their financial information. Ms. Lively appears to recognize the basic elements of privacy rights that individuals are entitled to, despite her attempts to pierce the rights others are equally entitled to. The YouTuber who makes videos dissecting court documents in celebrity cases and prominent criminal prosecutions. That sounds like something that Mims does. Make it make sense. He be doing that too. He buys court documents, breaks it on down on his show. And he said she had already been the victim of a stalker and SA, and that she was terrified Lively would leak her private information, putting her in harm's way. Plaintiff's counsel has an established history in this case of improper, completely absent redaction in filings that have exposed the home addresses of every Wayfair defendant. This is what O'Connell wrote. And what I'm thinking is this: I don't think that Blake has a right to be putting this information or trying to gather somebody's information. Like, if somebody actually is doing the work where they're getting court documents, breaking them down, they understand the legal system and the law, then why are you going after them because things aren't in your favor? You don't like how you're coming across in these legal findings? They've been dealing with so damn nosy there. They even had a post of the subpoena. I would show it to y'all, but I'm just like, I have to do the whole copy paste and all of this stuff. So they said this led to death threats to all the defendants, several of which are women, threats of kidnap and harm to a wife and daughter not affiliated with the lawsuit, an act of arson where the arsonist is currently in jail, and the disclosure of 2 separate medical conditions, further heightening the risk of exposure and harm to any person's information presented to the lawsuit. She proclaims herself to be the voice of women. Please, I knew that was an act. And vowed to not stop speaking for us, while simultaneously causing lasting harm to women after women with her counsel and the court's assistance. I, as most of her victims, have done nothing wrong and do not deserve to be unconstitutionally stripped of my rights to suit her whims. Now, O'Connell called Lively's subpoenas abusive and sweeping, noting she served 60 30-party subpoenas and intends to file several more according to court documents. The plucky YouTuber also claimed that Lively's big law firm, Manat, Phelps and Phillips, made a procedural mistake that invalidates their subpoena. O'Connell said clerks in Northern California federal court told her the subpoena to Google Pay area California headquarters was issued from New York, not NorCal. But she cited legal precedents saying that the subpoena must be routed through the nearest court to be valid. So she also noted that Lively's subpoena referred to Reynolds as a party to the case, though he has already been dismissed from involvement by the judge. O'Connell noted the alleged mistakes in the complaint against Manat attorney Ezra Hudson to the California State Bar for issuing an improper subpoena, saying her actions violated multiple California rules of professional conduct and disregarded constitutional protections under the First Amendment, the YouTuber wrote in her complaint. She included a claim that Ms. Hudson's office denied issuing the subpoena on 3 separate occasions, which raises serious concerns under the rules of professional honesty and truthfulness. The misuse of legal process to delay litigation, intimidate critics, and obtain improper discovery from non-parties is serious misconduct that undermines both legal ethics and constitutional protections. I just really hope that the law is able to protect a lot of us on here, because it's like, if we're actually doing the work and dotting our I's and crossing our T's and doing what we need to do to make sure that we're not just out here spewing a lot of hate, vitriol, and misinformation like the Trashy K's and all of them be out here doing, spreading lies and misinformation about celebrities. Like, if you were taking more of an approach in that way, then I could definitely understand you taking a person to court, wanting to subpoena their records, wanting to sue them like Cardi B did to her for making up lies and stuff about her. I could totally understand that. But if you have somebody out here who literally is out here, got all the legal paperwork, it's public knowledge, a lot of what's going on. We're reporting based off of what the major trades are posting out here. Why aren't you suing Variety and Deadline and all these other places? Like, what are you, Donald Trump with tits? Like, anytime somebody says something about you, you basically want to, oh, I'm going to subpoena them and put them in court and I'm going to sue you and all this. I'm like, girl, get off my line with that bullshit. So I'll definitely keep you guys abreast of the stories that develops. I don't think that we as pundits should be intimidated and pushed to not want to speak on a story that's making the rounds in media, and you're mad that you feel like because people aren't in favor of your side of the story that, oh, we're a problem for you, we're going to mess up your case. I'm like, sis, you already ruining your reputation by pulling this shit. This is no different than Jennifer Lopez, when people was talking mess about her. How she was trying to get people TikToks taken down, and she was accused of some girl, I think she had cancer, that she ended up passing away because when you demonetized and got her TikTok taken down, that was the money that she was using to for her medicines and things of that of that nature. And this is why I always said, like, this is why I don't understand why we don't have universal health care in this country, because people have to literally set up GoFundMe's and all this other stuff to be able to afford to live. So yeah, the trial between her and Justin don't start until 2026, but I can't wait for this damn story, this trial, this whole situation to be over, because it's just too much having a report on this foolishness when it usually comes up. Because I take breaks in between, because I feel like everything up in here ain't worth talking about, but she doing too much. So now you want to come after YouTubers for speaking on something that's public knowledge, but whatever. So I'll definitely keep you guys abreast of the story. Whatever you think about it, let me know in the comments down below. You said, ooh, yeah, I'm tired. I've been up since like 7 o'clock this morning because I had to be at work by 11. No, actually, I got up earlier. What was? You're saying? I was like, what was in theaters? You're saying It Ends With Us was in theaters, and Blake thinks okay, and she not with that overbite. All right. Okay, y'all. So now let's get into this Scooter Braun story. So Scooter Braun said, "You Swifties can get off his nuts." He said, "No, I'm saying that because that was like what James Gunn told y'all about Matt Reeves. Get off his nuts. Let him make his damn Batman. Like, let him finish writing the damn Batman script. Get off his nuts." But in so many words, Scooter's saying the same damn thing, because he said he don't understand how the Swifties still mad at him after all these years, when this thing happened 6 years ago between him and Taylor and the master recordings, all that other stuff. And the Swifties still mad. But I'm like, you know what? At the end of the day, everybody got what they wanted. Scooter's off living happily ever after in La La Land with his coins and doing all the other things that he's doing. Justin Bieber put out a new album that's divisive for some. Some people like it, some people don't. And Taylor Swift is winning. She owns all the masters and Big Machine. So people are upset. And it's like, at the end of the day, she bought her masters. All that, the money she accumulated from the Eras tour helped her buy back her body of work. So everybody's happy. We can get off Scooter Braun's nuts, and we could all move on with our lives. And before we move on with our lives, let's just get into the story. So In his most extensive public comments to date on the saga of Taylor Swift's master recordings, and what he says he hopes will be one of the last times he addresses it, music mogul Scooter Braun makes the claim that things worked out better than imaginable for all the parties involved. He said the cool part is if you actually pay attention, everybody in the end won. Braun's interview with Danielle Robay for her Question Everything podcast runs 90 minutes fewer than 20, of which are devoted to his now nearly mythical run in From Afar with Swift. Still, it represents perhaps the best window to date into the former manager's thinking about how he believes he's been publicly perceived since he bought and then resold the pop superstar's masters, and his insistence that this change in his public approval ratings did not affect him personally or any great degree, only his divorce did. I'm truly believe, like, you know what? With him even saying all of that, I don't believe it. I do feel like that the Swifties really got under his skin, that he has been affected by the fact that y'all out here hating on him because of what he did to Taylor Swift. You said it was nothing personal, but it was just like, oh, that it was just business. Like, you bought a big machine. You bought and then sold her masters, which in the end she ended up getting. So I guess regardless how you feel, it's like, look, they all did win at the end of the day. So they said, speaking of which, Robay also asked Braun to address the rumors that Swift's song Vigilante Shit. Wait, she has a song called Vigilante Shit? Where the hell have I been? It's about him and his former spouse, Yael Cohen Braun. Now, you can't get no more Jewish than that damn name. He maintains that it isn't related to them and that he and his ex-wife remain tightly bonded with laugh about that stuff. Although Braun calls the song and the speculation over it a great strategy move. At one point, Braun breaks the fourth wall to say hello to the viewers he knows are watching the podcast looking for further fodder for their fire, saying, excuse me, quote, you know, me even talking about this now, there's going to be, hello, Swifties. They're going to be yelling and screaming and this, that, and the other. You can't say anything right, and it is what it is. You know, my response to that is they made the horrible miscalculation that I care. You know, I don't know who these people are out there, and if I met them in person and they needed my help as a stranger, I would help them. And I think people forget that when you have a fan base that big and 10,000 people are yelling at you, it feels like the world is ending. But that's less than 1% of the fan base that big. I think most people are dealing with their own insecurities the same way I am, the same way every artist and every human being is. And I think, excuse me, it's just a more productive use of your time to not get stuck in the craziness of celebrity fodder and focus more on being kind to people. I do feel like that some of y'all do get way too invested in the drama of celebrities and what your fave might be going through. But it's like, I understand that you love your you have your favorite artists, whether it's Taylor Swift, whether you're a Swiftie, whether you're Rihanna Navy, whether you're a Beehive, whether you're a Barb, whatever. But you gotta let these people fight their own battles unless they try to assert you into it. Which, you know, Nicki likes to assert her fan base into everything that's going on with her. But for the most part, I don't think Taylor really tries to assert a lot of her Swifties into whatever it is that she's going through in her personal life or her business endeavors. But I know, like, her fan base likes to assert themselves into whatever it is she's got going on. So they said that the discussion of the Swift contemps begins about 45 minutes into the podcast with Braun telling Robay that he knows it's her job to ask those questions, as reluctant as he is to dig back into one of the enduring showbiz battles of the modern era. Saying, look at me, it was 6 years ago. I think like going backwards and revisiting this is a waste of time. He says, nonetheless, reiterating his point of view on where things went wrong. When Taylor says that she wasn't offered the masters, the reason I was under NDA was because we were in negotiations to sell it back to her. I just choose to believe her, and maybe they didn't tell her, maybe her team didn't tell her, didn't understand the negotiations. So maybe there is some truth to that. He was like, I was planning on selling her the masters. But the problem was I was under an NDA. I can't speak on these things. And regardless of whether or not he says this to the fan base, like he said, some of the Swifties are going to believe what they want to believe. Oh, he's a liar. Oh, he's trying to cover his own ass. He's just doing this to save face, whatever. You know, y'all know how it is. And it's like, yeah, if I'm under an NDA, yeah, the timing was different. I guess the NDA must have ended because he's speaking on it now. And then he also went on to say, he said, the only thing that I really regret is that it's easy to have a monster if you never meet him. And Taylor and I will have only met 3 times in our life. And I think at that point, we hadn't seen each other in 2-3 years. I was managing people she wasn't a fan of, basically referring to Kanye and Justin Bieber. And she probably saw my name come up and was like, I don't like those people, so I don't like him. And we never had an opportunity to sit in front of each other and actually have a conversation to this day. And I think the most of the time, when people actually sit in front of each other, the monster isn't real, that there's an understanding, that there's a healing. If people can have a conversation, and because when I was asking for that, it just never happened. It really went awry, and I choose not to say much. Oh, no, he goes on. It's a lot. See, I should have played the clip, but you want to know something? I don't want to risk the demonetization because you know a lot of times when you play clips and stuff, it affects the monetization. So I'll just leave it as it. I'll just have to read it. Okay, so it says, but the cool part is if you actually pay attention, everybody in the end won. Now, Robert asks what he means, and Braun elaborates. He says, well, yes, she could have bought them back, and that could have been part of the victory. But I choose to think her team maybe didn't tell her. But when they turned it down, we ended up selling it to someone else because she didn't want us to have it. We did very well in that sale because we bought it at a really great price, and the value of the masters went up. And when I sold it, she had announced she was going to do re-records. And if you understand music, excuse me, the value went up for the masses because Spotify and streamers created a longer decay than buying just CDs. People would listen to them more, so there's a longer decay, and it's still decaying. But when she re-recorded, all ships rise in a world of streaming. So people were going on and they were A/being them, and they were listening in to see how much they sounded like the originals. So she did incredibly well and basically had the biggest moment of her career, reinvigorating her career with each one. It was brilliant on her part, but also each time she released one, you saw a spike in the original catalog, and that's how we were able to sell. Okay, if she didn't want them, this is still a really great asset. And we actually created an earnout. Excuse me. We had every one of our earnouts, and we hit every one of our earnouts. They didn't hide it; they hit it. And we were right. So funny enough, everyone involved in the saga from the business standpoint, one, she's the biggest she's ever been, the biggest artist of all time. We did really well with the asset. The people who bought the asset did really well because of those spikes. The only thing that I'm sad about is that's a great example where all ships can rise and there doesn't need to be an enemy. Now, Robey notes at the YouTube info for the podcast that the interview was conducted in April, well before Swift announced on May 30th that she had bought back the master recordings from Shamrock Holdings, which had purchased them from Braun's company in 2020. Now, funnily enough, when he's saying all this, it's like, I do believe that when the re-records, the fans were buying the re-records, I do think, and see, he done snitched on y'all because the Swifties also was out there listening to the original copies, and I guess they were trying to do the whole matching how close to the original does the Taylor's version sound. So I do believe that. It was like, even though people were listening to the Taylor's version, they were also listening to the original body of work, which he was still making money off of. So while everybody out here on social media, that's why I tell y'all, there's the Matrix and there's the real world. We got people on social media who say one thing and they want to, they're screaming into the bullhorn about, no justice and all that other stuff. Excuse me, but low key, y'all over there listening to the original copies and still putting money in Scooter pocket. So yeah, if you want, You could definitely go because this article it goes on and on and on and on and on. I think they were also talking about his wife and all the other stuff and how he attempted to take his own life. So yeah, if you want to definitely check out the video for the YouTube video whatever of Scooter Braun's interview, you could definitely head over to Danielle Robay. That's Danielle Robay. You can head over to her YouTube channel. Where somebody in the comments said his answers were more interesting than I thought they would be. And I was really impressed with Danielle's interviewing style. So many podcast hosts and music journalists are doing vague softball interviews these days. We need more interviews like this. So they got some stuff in there where people are relatively interested in what Danielle's saying in her interview style, because I do agree. There's so many girls out here, Alex Cooper, and so many pundits who just be throwing softball interviews. And it's frustrating where it's like, that there's certain questions you want to ask certain people about things, but they don't want the pushback. They don't want to be challenged. So they do these softball interviews because they want to have these celebrities come back or more celebrities. But I'm just like, but your interview is not memorable. So if somebody's going to really go in and just ask the questions and really want to have like real transparent conversations, that's what we want from our YouTubers and our pundits, not some old, I'm going to just ask you some lame little thing. You ain't do no research or whatever the case was, because those type of interviews irritate me. So yeah, so that's the latest on Scooter Braun. The question is for you. Did you guys see the interview that he did with Danielle Robay over there on YouTube? If you have not, definitely go and check that video out. But in the meantime, let me know what your thoughts are on this story in the comments down below. Oh, I knew that season 17 was coming. I just didn't know when. But it's funny how like All Stars just ends, and now they got season 17 up there. I just started rewatching season 15, so I might have to finish. I gotta finish that out because I got like 4 more episodes left on that season. They were. Oh, hold on. Hello, hello, hello. Microphone check. 1 2 1 2. Testing, testing. 1 2 3 3 2 1. How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? Okay, I had to check because I accidentally stepped on the cord and unplugged my damn microphone. Got a little excited because you was talking about David Archuleta's Hold the Tomatoes announced his memoir. I'm like, well, he must have had a very interesting life because growing up talking about his Mormonism and all this stuff, that is definitely an interesting conversation he'll talk about. But congratulations to him. Off topic, but I fear Sabrina's new album that's due next month is doomed to fail unless the second single is a huge success. She's dating herself by leaning into the conservative trad wife aesthetic. Yeah, I'm not really feeling that man-child song. So never liked Scooter even before he bought Taylor's catalog. The way he managed and treated Ariana was terrible, and even he admitted to it recently. Vigilante Shit is on her 2022 Midnights album. It's a short song and is a leftover from the Reputation era, so you actually might like it. She performed it on the tour too. Funny enough, I might have heard the song. He said, as a Swiftie, I call BS because he was shook and everything because it didn't bother him that much. Why would he sell just her catalog for $300 million, the same price he bought Big Machine? You know, he was pressed because people who talk about they not pressed don't talk about they not pressed. Like, oh, well, y'all act like I can. You care, sir. Stop it. You're just being defensive. Taylor has sent her Swifties to attack Netflix during the Jenny and Georgia drama where they said something degrading about. Oh, okay. So she does be out here sicking her fans on people. You go through men faster than Taylor Swift is what was said on the show. I mean, then why, I was gonna say, why did I laugh? Maybe because the way they didn't deliver it. You go through men faster than Taylor Swift. You know how to deliver that line. Which is why Madonna only goes on Jimmy. Plays. I hate when she goes on there because he throws softball interviews and he kisses her ass, but he does that with every guest, which is why he's not that interesting of a talk show host. Not particularly care for him, but yeah, she definitely needs some interesting, like Madonna definitely. I don't like the ass kissing interviews and stuff. And then I just heard recently, I don't know if I have that in here, but there was a recent thing that came out, or maybe I think I might have it on the Facebook page where I sent to, wait, hold on. Because I was like, did I not put it in my thing? Apparently not. Yeah, so there was a story that came out. I don't know if it's true or not. And if it is, I'll be annoyed because then we got to wait till 2026 for a new Madonna album. But according to someone by the name of the Queen of Pop M, they're saying rumors suggest Madonna will drop the lead single from her new album alongside The Devil Wears Prada 2. The first film featured her song Jump from Confessions on the Dance Floor, and ironically, she's now working on part 2 of that album, just as the movie sequel is also in the works. So for those who are not aware, there was a story going around that apparently Madonna has a part in the sequel to The Devil Wears Prada, which they've been showing a lot of photos of Anne Hathaway and excuse me, Meryl Streep in New York filming on location. They're doing The Devil Wears Prada 2 here. Obviously, I mean, if you're doing it in New York and you're talking about fashion and you're playing like a fictional version of Anna Wintour, then obviously you have to make the movie here. So, the rumor is that Madonna has a part in the movie. We don't necessarily know what the part is. She might be playing herself, or she might be playing some annoying aging pop star with a different name, Fadanta. I'm just making that up. But and then they say that they're gonna put the song from the new album in the movie. But the movie is more than likely to come out in 2026. I would have thought we would get the album this year because wouldn't it coincide with the 20th anniversary of Confessions on the Dance Floor? Because Confessions came out in 2005, right? So we would throw like for the. Oh well, thank you for letting me know. You said is a troll, so that's not that is a lie. And then we were saying this too, what you said, because I was like, wait a minute. How is she filming a cameo in a movie when we just saw her post photos of herself in London in the studio with Stewart finishing the rest of the record? So somebody lying. I did see that there was a woman that served him papers. That was a couple of weeks ago and was shouting back at him over the fence or whatever the case is. Said, you got served. See you in court. But I didn't see, if this is a recent one, no, I didn't see that. But Mara Lopez, child, that man's in a sunken place. I don't think that's a true story. I'm mutuals with them and they just say a bunch of nothing as Rick. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so they're trying to start some mess with The Devil Wears Prada 2. I feel like The Devil Wears Prada 2 is just going to be a regular movie, which is a sequel. They're not trying to bring in a bunch of damn. This is not Sex in the City where they're trying to do stunt casting and things of that nature. It's like Madonna is busy, as we said, trying to finish this damn album and raising the rest of them babies. All right. Now, let's move on, y'all. Let's get back into the show. And it's about Jennifer Lopez. Now, Jennifer has been busy out here on tour overseas. I did see some story where they said that she outsold Beyonce in ticket sales. I'm like, yeah, okay. I believe that when I see it. First of all, Beyonce's out here doing stadiums. Which the only time Jennifer Lopez sold out a stadium was when she performed alongside Shakira at the Super Bowl. And that was because that was the Super Bowl. I mean, hello. So yeah, so she's been out here performing on tour. I cannot tell you how many times that I have come across a Jennifer photo, video clip, whatever, and I read the comments and you see so much misogyny and hatred, anti-aging rhetoric. And it's from women, mostly. That's the gag. It's like, damn, y'all really be out here hating on your own gender. And it's about, she out here naked. She didn't put some clothes on. Whatever the case is. I'm like, bitch, first of all, it's hot. Number two, she's a showgirl. And number three, so they're going to be up there dressed as scantily clad or barely wearing anything. And number three, Jennifer worked hard for that body. Why the hell she need to cover it up? Some of y'all would wish that you were 55 looking like how Jennifer Lopez out here looking. I said the same thing about when I saw Ricky Martin. Ricky Martin out here posting selfies of himself recently. I was like, well, damn, I wish I could look. I hope I be that, youthful and all this other stuff when I'm 53. And somebody said to me, it was like, all you need is money, because that money basically, helps you look better in regards of anti-aging regimens, still looking physical on the outside, looking and physically having the appearance of youthfulness, but them bones and everything is aching on the inside. So it's not. So for those of you out there, you're not ugly. You're just poor. That's basically what it is. So Jennifer scandalized audience members at her latest concert with an X-rated confession, to the point she had that old assertive attention whore Megyn Kelly clutching her pearls online. So the 55-year-old actress and singer, who has lately been putting on increasingly risque performances, admitted at her show on Monday at the Lucca Summer Festival in Italy that she has shifting desires when she's getting naughty in the bedroom. She said, I have to be honest with you. Sometimes I get in different moods at night. I don't know about you, but I do. And sometimes I like it hard. Oh, let me find out. Well, look, we did just find out that in that book of that unauthorized biography about Gwyneth Paltrow, that apparently she like getting teabagged by Ben Affleck. So you talking about you like it hard. I wonder if Ben dropped his nuts. Your face was chock full of nuts. That's what I'm kind of curious about. I could definitely see her with a mouthful of nuts. And I don't know, for some reason, I think Ben Affleck balls be heavy. Like, he had to do upside your head. I really feel like them shits will probably hurt. But anyway, so now they said, but on the same day that she opened up about her most intimate details on stage, the Hustle star was blasted on social media by the conservative political commentator Megyn Kelly, who accused her of devolving into an adult film star thanks to a series of raunchy concerts in recent weeks. So someone being on stage half naked, doing sexually suggestive poses is devolving into an adult film star? No, being an adult film star is you go on OnlyFans and Jennifer Lopez got herself spread eagle and some loose side heels taking multiple dicks. Now that is X-rated, not simulating sex in a concert. But we already know how Megyn, fake ass Kelly get down. She's a grifter. She tries to do whatever she can do to gain attention. Just like she got dragged online because she was out here gloating over the fact that Stephen Colbert lost his job. It's like, bitch, it wasn't that long ago that you lost your job over there on the TV too. You didn't last a year. What was it, at NBC? You filed a whole lawsuit against Fox News because allegedly you said you was abused over there at Fox, did a whole settlement. You were in a movie where Charlize Theron played you. That was the best you ever looked, quiet as it's kept, that you had somebody as good looking as Charlize playing you. But for the most part, you can't be out here trying to throw stones and things when your house ain't necessarily clean. Your glass house. So, during the Hitmaker show on Monday, she confessed that she isn't always in the mood to have it hard. Well, who always wants to get pounded? They only do that in the corn movies. She said, other days, if I'm feeling a little romantic, you put on candles and soft music. On those days, I like it real slow. Okay, Tina Turner, when you going to start doing Rolling on the River, Proud Mary actually is the title. She continued, but then there's other days, maybe because it's a new kind of time for me, maybe because it's summertime and it's hot outside, I feel a little more naughty. Well, look, she would have brought out the vibrator. It really would have been on and popping. And they said then, Jennifer reportedly chuckled as the crowd hooted and hollered at her racy statements. It feels like she's trying to do her little Britney. I may be young, but I have feelings too. And then she'll go, all you people look at me like I'm a little girl, but if you ever think it'd be okay with me to step into this world. Even though it's not her song. Like, I feel like she want to kind of do, I'm a slave for you, bitch. She also want to say, you ever get that feeling when you feel like being naughty? On those days, I like it real fast. The tour stop reportedly featured Jennifer's new song Up All Night, which she named her tour after. Isn't she supposed to release a new song tonight, too? Called Birthday? I think it's like in the next 30 minutes because this is about 11:23 p.m. on as I'm doing this story. So by the time I clip this out and upload it, the song is already out already. Y'all can throw down in the comments and all the other stuff what y'all thought of the song. But there was one song I did hear her perform at her show that somebody recorded. And I'm like, okay, that's a cute little bop. Jennifer finally working with some people that gonna give her some bops. But like I said, leave the mid-tempo and the ballads to the professionals. The Celines, the Mariahs, the Adeles. You need to stick to the wop babaloo bop stuff. And I'm not talking about you up in here thinking that you Tina Turner or you re-zhuzhing and trying to do Motown or other stuff. Like, we need you to do like the EDM, the 808s, you know, all that stuff. Like, that's what you need to stick to. Those are the rivers and the lakes you need to stay on. So then, and then they also were talking about like what the lyrics are. We don't care necessarily what the lyrics are. I don't feel like reciting them. So, oh, did y'all see this picture? Hold on. I gotta show y'all this one. Child, this is a mess. I'm like, it was like he eating her box. Why don't put there's another artist that somebody did that too. Recently. And then look, there seemed like a lot of the girls out here doing it. Sabrina Carpenter was called under fire for simulating a sex act on stage where it looked like she was getting the front end and the back end taken care of. So look, if it's a part of the show and it's interesting or entertaining, whatever, then I don't mind people doing it. It's like women need to embrace themselves being sexual or sexy, whatever. Jennifer is an older woman. She's in her mid-50s. I don't know why y'all try to act like she dead. I mean, look at Madonna. She's like 10 years older than Jennifer and still out here doing sexually suggestive stuff on stage and don't feel no ways tired about it. So let's see what else the people would say. Oh, so yeah, then she went and said, so she a soft corn star now. Great choices. And that's what Megyn said. So they said the material inspired by what she went through with Ben Affleck. We don't care. We already know. Now, in a post to Twitter, Megyn shared a video of the songstress running through multiple mock sex positions with her shirtless male backup dancers, as the political commentator expressed or discussed. And that's why I always say, why is it always women that be so hard on other women? Now, several replies to the post agree with the former Fox News host, with multiple people describing the video of Lopez as ridiculous, disgusting, and embarrassing. So I guess y'all man ain't touching y'all at home, touching you in your private parts. So one person, this is nasty. I couldn't watch. Wrote one particular sensitive poster. It's some uptight conservative prude. It's about some sensitive poster. Over to my the others of snowflakes. Y'all the biggest snowflakes running. But some of the replies accused Kelly of being unnecessarily harsh on Lopez. One person said jealous much. Clearly she is, because she wished she could dance, look as youthful as Jennifer does. So yeah, one person wrote jealous much, where while another mused, is there anything that does not offend MAGA? Yeah, the one thing that MAGA isn't offended by. But I was going to say the one thing they are out here actually demanding, because it's like, yeah, y'all always bitching and moaning about stuff, but now that she was on the other foot with the Epstein list and stuff, now y'all want answers. But that is true. Y'all always bitching about something. Others urged Kelly to be less judgmental, and another person turned the tables by writing, still grasping for relevance, Megyn. Kelly's critical comments about celebrities aren't a new phenomenon and date back to the height of her influence when she appeared on Fox News. She courted controversy earlier this month when she went after Sydney Sweeney, who went to Jeff Bezos' tight-ass wedding to Lauren Sanchez. And she said that, I don't know, she's talking about her breast. She was like, how does she wind up there? Kelly said that she wound up for a brutal jab. Sydney Sweeney is the new toast of the town out there because she's got these enormous breasts that everyone's obsessed with. And why, first of all, why are you even commenting on another woman's body? Like, I don't understand that. Like, oh, because she's got big boobs, that's why she's there. Well, I'm glad you noticed, and I'm glad you're admiring them. But what that say about you, Megyn? You wish you had titties that size? You wish you could pull a man and that he would get moist for you or get you moist? That's why I said you and Ben Shapiro belong together, because your vagina probably as dry as his wife's. And when you out here talking about that you can't even get your wife moist, and it makes me wonder about her and what your man doing for you if you got one. So I meant to remove that. So I say all this to say, when you guys think of this story, do y'all think this like, okay, look, Jennifer is a performer. Y'all need to get up off her. She looks good. She works hard on her body to be able to do the things that she gets to do on the stage. She's not going to get up there in a damn burqa, performing on the floor, and Love Don't Cost a Thing and all the big hits that she's had back in the day. She's going to be up there and being sexy, and because she's Latina. So they gotta exude that sexiness or whatever, and she's up there being a showgirl. Like, you can't expect her in a damn burqa doing or Mrs. Roper moo. So let me know what you guys think of this foolishness in the comments down below. I think she might have a couple of songs in the movie, like the first one. She might not have any at all. Katie Cass was pissed when I said it's actually the other way around. Dr. Luke created Katy Perry because Kesha was the original Slater, hot girl pop star. She wasn't made for kids. She was like a little bit of Peaches, a little bit of Slater. She's got kind of another artist that I actually like, who really didn't like. She's like underground Uffy. I always liked her stuff. Pop the Glock, bitch. Let me tell you, I love that damn song. So she's always had that type of vibe, but Kesha was able to kind of usher it more into the mainstream. So it's funny, on the show we was saying something or another that she needs to go a little more Peaches, a little more edgier with the music. Take more risks now that you're independent. I also don't think Mads said about Confessions 2 in the Vogue interview article. So whoever told you that was spreading misinformation. Oh, you talking about Robert was spreading misinformation? Because that's who said it. Well, I'm not a fan. Because funny enough, when I heard that information, I was Googling and looking to be like, okay, so where is this Vogue interview that she did? Could not find it anywhere. Well, I'm not, and Madonna's old school, so she's not talking about this album until it's done. And she's got to do the rounds and start doing, the interviews and things. I'm not a fan of J-Lo. Last time I checked, she's a grown woman and can do whatever she wants. Where's that same energy for the men who are at her age range doing something similar? Up on stage, shirtless and all this other stuff. Megyn and many conservatives are uptight women are jealous because they were taught not to embrace their sexuality. Yeah, it's like Catholic guilt. And you mad because she out here doing what you wish you could do, but you don't have the balls to do it. That's why they hate seeing other women such as, for performance like this, because they can't bring themselves to do what she do, or they lack it. Are you saying you want her music to be a little more sleazy? A mature sleazy, but nevertheless sleazy. All right, y'all. Whew, child, I don't want to be on here yawning. But look, I promise you bitches a show, so I'm going to give y'all one, honey. All right, y'all. So we got about 4 topics left until we are wrapped with the show. So if you have not already, please hit that like button. If you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Also, be sure to smash the notification bell so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. Also, be putting timestamps in the show once we wrap the live stream, so that way those who watch the playback can just go in and click on whatever topic you want to see. That's down in the description, rather than having to sit through all the chatter and the banter we do during the live. Please and thank you. Now, without further ado, child, let's get into this mess. Justin Timberlake being dragged on social media for giving at least one thing we could say about Jennifer Lopez. While she out here giving y'all full-on shows and being ever the professional when she on that stage, Justin Timberlake giving half-ass shows by singing every other word and pointing the microphone out to the audience like he the white Mary J. Blige. That's what his fans is accusing him of. So Justin, well, look, so it looked like it's gonna ruin the tour, but the tour is about to be over. Quiet as it's kept. So Justin Timberlake is facing backlash for a recent concert performance where he reportedly relied heavy on the audience to sing, appeared disengaged, and even had a public outburst at his crew. Justin Timberlake went viral for the wrong reasons after fans were disappointed in his performance during the recent Electric Castle Music Festival in Romania. The video of the Trolls actor singing Don't Stop the Feeling blew up on TikTok, garnering over 1.5 million views. Many viewers criticized the artist for relying too heavily on the audience to carry the song. One person said, dude took a day off on stage. Now performing in the rain, Timberlake is shown putting up his jacket hood and saying the first line of the song. He then points to the audience to continue the song, directing them to continue most of the minute-long video. The former boy bander is also seen moving his hands and feet to the music. Ciao. And that's what y'all paying for? Timberlake headlined the Transylvania Music Festival last week with Dracula there, which marked his first ever performance in Romania. One fan posted a scathing review of the set that gained 5.6 million views. She called the show an absolute disappointment and complained that he was concealing his face. Because he can't be convenienced with all that water hitting it. Well, maybe you could use some of that water for some moisturizer. But you look a little tattered. Now, she said, You come to my country. I pay a lot of money. It's raining like ish, the fan said in her video. I've been waiting for you all day to come on stage. You were late, first of all. Yeah, and then you sang like 5 words on each song. Now, reps for Timberlake did not immediately respond to a request for a comment from Entertainment Weekly. Now, fans felt it was disrespectful to paying audience members for Timberlake to shift the bulk of the performance onto fans. Some share that they had their own negative experiences as some of Timberlake's recent shows across Europe. Saying, I just want to add that we saw him in Estonia. Oh, that's where Curly's from. You know, the one that Lady Gaga was accused of stealing ideas from. They said, I just want to add that we saw him in Estonia and it was a disappointment for us too. This is what one person wrote. Another TikTok user shared a clip of his performance from Lollapalooza Paris and called him, Justin, I didn't know I was supposed to sing at a concert, Timberlake. The video received 1.9 million views and shows the artist similarly asking the crowd to sing Cry Me a River. Timberlake is finishing the final week of his world tour, which began last year in support of his most recent album that nobody bought, Everything I Thought It Was. He will conclude the tour in Istanbul, Turkey on July 30th. So the tour is finally coming to an end next week. And you know what? I feel like at this point, if your heart is not into performing, if you don't want to be out here doing needs to be done as an artist, then you just need to just hang it up, walk away. Like, one thing I will give props to is the Backstreet Boys, which I'm kind of upset with my job. Well, I don't want to throw daggers at my job because I love my job. But they said that I could get, like, they were trying to get me to get tickets for an artist named Keshi, K-E-S-A. It's funny how we had Kesha today, Keshi tomorrow. And there was tickets for her show tomorrow. And then there was the Backstreet Boys at the Sphere, which I would love to go to that one day. You know, one of these days when I get out to Vegas. But the Backstreet Boys are out of the Sphere right now, tearing it up. I'm hearing nothing but great things about their show. You literally see that they're full of energy. They're singing full out. The fans are loving it. You know, I haven't heard any negative things about it. I've been seeing a lot of comments online talking about Kevin Richards' hair and the outfit. So I'm like, the outfits, it's about the millennium era. That whole album, it was very futuristic. Like, people just stupid. But they just want to be in the comments saying dumb stuff. But anyway, at least they're giving you a full-on show. But Justin half-assing it on stage, you're not getting my money's worth. Like, to me, it's always been feeling like that Justin has been phoning it in for a long time. And I'm just like, the jig is up. Like, maybe you need to kind of like just fall back, take a break, you know, diddle with your wife and spend time with your kids and just take a break from music, because quiet as it's kept, nobody wants new music from you. You can do you're a legacy act at this point. You can just travel the world on your catalog of music and do that. Or would make the fans even happier when you take a little break, come back and do an NSYNC reunion. I definitely think that there warrants an NSYNC album, a new NSYNC album. Look, if NKOTBSB, well, no, that's New Kids on the Block. Wait, no, I said No Kids on the Block and the Backstreet Boys. NKOTB, if they can go and record a new album and also be out here traveling and touring the world and all this other stuff with their tour, NSYNC can get back together, put them, record a record together and tour on that, plus the old albums that they have. And I definitely feel like y'all will definitely sell tickets, because people do want to see NSYNC. You're a nostalgia act at this point, and even based off the nostalgia of it all from fans of my generation, because that's why I grew up with NSYNC and the Backstreet Boys and all that stuff. I don't know if I would pay it to go see it. If you came to the Garden, which I'm sure they probably would, and do a show there, I'll probably work it so I can see it for free. But for the most part, I think people would want to see that happen. So I do think you need to take a break from being a solo artist. You seem like you're bored with being a solo artist. You're not interested in being a solo artist at this point, because it's showing in your work. You're showing up to work late. You got the glasses on, like you're recovering from a hangover, and you got the microphone out like, sing. Yeah, do that. Yeah, cry me a goddamn river, because we don't care. You need to get up there. The people paying the money, you need to get up there and you need to do a full show and not be pointing the microphone to the audience, having them do your job for you. Because I'm like, that ain't my money's worth. I would never pay to see you after that. And that's no shade. Because, times is hard out for people out here. But anyway, I guess not for you. So let's say, what do you guys think of this story regarding Justin Timberlake, per usual, doing something to disappoint his damn fans? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. You said Justin Summer Love was used on the soundtrack to The Summer I Turned Pretty, and now Gen Z is listening to him because he's asserting his music in things that they like. All this could have been fine if he simply and sincerely apologized to Brittany, Janet, and the other women he has hurt, but his big ass ego, okay? And the fact that he don't want to perform live on stage. And speaking of which, speaking of big asses, y'all need to leave Keith Lee alone and stop trying to bait that man. Y'all here talking about, oh, he queer baiting. Just because a man is on, and this is another thing, y'all don't know what queer baiting is. Queer baiting is not a regular dude who is shirtless in a pair of tight shorts, showing off his assets because of the progress of him being in the gym. Is not thirst trapping gay men. If you happen to be a homosexual and you looking and you like what you see, then wait, Keshi's a guy? Well, I thought that was a girl. Because it kind of looked like one. If you feeling a little tingling in your nether regions because you like what you see, because the cakes is caking on Keith Lee, then that's one thing. But you can't sit up here and get mad at someone who is who is confident in their body and showing themselves off, and you thinking that they're baiting to you. They're not baiting to you. They don't even know you. So people need to stop that narrative. Probably have to look at something. They were looking for people to work that show tomorrow, but I was like, no, I'm good, because Friday, Saturday I gotta work, and then Sunday I gotta work. I got the 2 Chris Stapleton shows. Then I have Blackpink. So I told him I'm gonna be busy for a while now. All right. It's time to get into some homosexual news. I want to go full, chest voice with the homosexual. So I did a soft one. Okay, so let's get into this whole thing that's going on with David Geffen and his soon-to-be ex-husband, because we already heard, like, okay, that there was a divorce that was coming, which we were like, okay, we been knew that was going to happen. Like somebody who's in their 30s dating an 80-something-year-old, like where they do that at? Like where you thought that was going to work, and that you was going to be an independent woman, being the kept woman on that, to a billionaire, but because the husband, Donovan Michaels, is spilling tea, which he even mentioned. He said, I'm a gay black man. I'm like, when did he come out of the closet? Because remember that time when his girlfriend, who was speaking to the press, she was like, I didn't even know he was gay or whatever. Well, that was probably a side of himself he suppressed. Or he was out here just gay for pay, which some people was accusing him of doing. I was like, where is the photo? Okay, I found it. All right, let's pull that up. So now, so this is according to Rolling Stone, because they had the tea. So they said, Donovan Michaels is suing the billionaire music and movie mogul, David Geffen, with claims that Geffen promised to provide him lifelong financial support, but then cut him off and evicted him shortly after filing for divorce in May. In his new 33-page complaint filed Tuesday and obtained by Rolling Stone, Michaels, whose legal name is David Armstrong, says he and Geffen met on a website called SeekingArrangements.com in 2016 when Geffen was 73. Armstrong said the businessman who famously worked with the Eagles, Joni Mitchell, and Bob Dylan before co-founding DreamWorks Pictures with Steven Spielberg and Jeffrey Katzenberg paid him for sex at first, but eventually professed his love and convinced him that they were in a genuine and enduring relationship. Armstrong said he believed that he had finally found someone who cared about his traumatic upbringing in the foster care system and maybe even cared. Why am I not buying that? Because I feel like y'all was using each other, quiet as it's kept. I feel like that that David manipulated you and basically was saying, we're in a genuine, enduring relationship. I want to take you away from whatever darkness and stuff that you're going through and take you out of poverty or whatever. I don't know. For some reason, I feel like that poverty works popped in my head. So I just want, take this old inner city youth off the street, even though he don't look like an inner city youth. He looked like one of those, those type of Negroes that always try to find a way to assimilate themselves to the white man for some type of status, like Laverne Cox with that cop. But we're about to get into that in a second. First, let's get into this one. So now, according to the lawsuit, Geffen, who's 82, sat down with Armstrong, who's 32, in the early months of the pandemic and orally and unambiguously agreed to generously support Armstrong for the rest of his life, even in the event of a breakup. So as long as Armstrong gave up his independence and modeling career and agreed to become Geffen's full-time travel companion, homemaker, health advisor, caretaker, and life partner. So your mistake was that you didn't get all this in writing, because you said that he orally and unambiguously agreed. And it's like, no, you need that in paperwork, because who's going to believe this? But if you feel like you got a way of getting around that in the courtroom, by all means, sir. Now, they also said that Armstrong claims that after his difficult youth, he believed Geffen was offering him a new beginning. He says they traveled the globe together, acquired property, got married on March 7, 2023, and co-hosted elaborate gatherings for Geffen and his social, political, and philanthropic friends. He says Geffen gifted him valuable art and a watch worth several $1 million. Well, if you're going to need money, you might as well pawn that sucker. That's what I say. All right, so now, Armstrong said after the marriage, Geffen became more controlling, allegedly telling him where to go, what to wear, what to read, what to watch, and what to say. He claims Geffen regularly bragged to his rich and successful friends that he rescued Armstrong from poverty. Chill. He said Geffen's alleged attempts to score social virtue points were demeaning and humiliating, straining their relationship. Armstrong claims he tried to keep up with Geffen's fast lifestyle, which allegedly included hug use. But the DRUG, y'all know. But his traumatic past was an emotional ticking time bomb, and the hugs only increased his inner turmoil and stress symptoms. I got a whole lot to say about this. Like, the whole thing about you giving up your whole independence, you saw dollar signs. You knew what you was getting into because you was like, I'm going to be a kept woman. And it is what it is. But y'all always know that nothing comes without a price. And here's the price. Him trying to control you. What to eat, what to say, what to watch, what to read, where you're going to go, what are you going to wear. Like, he's literally controlling every aspect of your life. You thought that was going to be a free situation? You're messing with a billionaire with a pot without a pot to piss and would have thrown out of and your own fuck you money. Like, you don't even have your own wherewithal. So that way, when you tired of this relationship, at least you got money in your account that you don't know about, a secret account that you could go and live life. Okay, so now, according to the new lawsuit, Geffen reacted negatively when Armstrong sought treatment for addiction and later told Geffen he wanted to develop an independent identity that he could be proud of, not one solely tied to Geffen and his singular approval. Armstrong says Geffen responded by cutting him off, demanding a divorce, and ordering him on June 24th to immediately vacate his New York residence. At the same time, Armstrong was told to pack up and leave. Pack your bags up and leave. The lawsuit says Geffen was hosting a party on his super yacht in Venice, Italy, celebrating the wedding of fellow billionaire Jeff Bezos and the Joker. Lauren Sanchez. Geffen did not respond to a request for comment in the new lawsuit. Now, when his divorce lawyer, Laura Wasser, filed his divorce petition, the paperwork noted that the couple had no prenup. The filing said Geffen was willing to pay spousal support, which typically lasts less than the length of the marriage. In California, Armstrong also would be entitled to half of Geffen's earnings during the marriage. Geffen is worth more than $8 billion, according to Forbes, but he has amassed his fortune before meeting Armstrong. If his cash flow over the last few years came from dividends, residuals, or loans against investments, his marital earnings would be minimal. Now, as part of the lawsuit, Armstrong says he wants the court to step in and order Geffen to account to Michaels for all the joint property, earnings, and income and all property acquired therewith, which resulted from all personal services, skills, effort, and work that Michaels and Geffen and each of them performed, expended, or contributed during the period of their relationship and while they lived with each other. Child, you wasn't with him long enough to be asking for all this, to be honest. And then he also said that in the complaint, Armstrong says he felt that Geffen discarded him as easily as he has acquired him. He claims that when he tried to negotiate with Geffen, the high-powered businessman tried to bully and tighten his control by demanding Armstrong fire his lawyers and work only with Geffen's hand-picked team of attorneys. Well, if you did that, then we already knew that. Who do they work for? They work for David Geffen because he's paying for it. It's the same thing like when I tell people, and when you sign them contracts at a record label and you use the record label's lawyer and you didn't read that contract and you wonder why you ain't getting paid the amount of money that you felt that you should be getting paid when you brought a lot of money and success and everything into the company that which you work for, it's because that lawyer works for them. That's why you get your own entertainment lawyer to handle your affairs and look over them contracts and make sure that they're not trying to stiff you out of a certain percentage. So you trying to tell me that I need to get rid of my lawyer and you want to handpick my attorneys? They're not going to have my best interest at heart. Like a used subject, Michael was thrown away emotionally and financially devastated, left worrying about whether he would be homeless at a moment's notice and impoverished from the lifestyle he had grown accustomed to, the direct breach of the parties' express and implied agreements. This case is not about a mere personal falling out. It's about the systemic exploitation of a vulnerable, marginalized young gay black man by a wealthy, powerful white gay billionaire who believed himself untouchable. Geffen used a toxic mix of seduction, control, promises of love, and lavish displays of wealth to entrap Michaels in a cycle of dependency, submission, and humiliation. Behind this glittering facade for the relationship was a calculated pattern of abuse and commodification. The new lawsuit is also seeking adequate support necessary to pay Armstrong reasonable general living expenses for the rest of his life, a home for Armstrong that Geffen cannot reclaim, and any other damages proven at trial. Armstrong's lawyer, Brian Freeman, did not respond to a request for comment. Well, here's the thing. I feel like just like how the women get away with stuff, like Ivana Trump said, don't get mad, get everything. And she did before she got buried on Mar-a-Lago. But nevertheless, she did get everything. And that's what he needs to do. Donovan. The same way these women sit and get whatever they need to get out of these men who sit up in here, manipulate and use them, and these women know exactly what they do when they get in these relationships with these average-looking men or these damn dinosaurs with one foot in the damn grave. And I'm still shocked that somebody in their 80s is allegedly out here doing all kinds of crazy drugs that Donovan claims that David was doing. But he homosexual. You know, they party hard. Even the ones that be talking about, it's like, okay, man, you were at a certain age. You need to calm down. And that's just like, I'm just glad that this just didn't turn into an Ed Buck type situation, because that would be crazy. But yeah, so I will definitely keep you guys abreast of this story as it develops, because I'm sure more is going to come out from it. But I just thought, like, child, the scandalosity and the salaciousness of this thing alone had me clutching my pearls. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story regarding this David Geffen situation? It's messy, but it's juicy. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Did YouTube remove your comments? How many things did you write? I mean, they removed that one. Get that money, honey. This is why I'm hesitant in getting sugar daddies with a lot. Yeah, because that's what that is. It's about you do stuff on their terms. There was something I was going to, I saw that Willem clap back at Mistress over her little video that she did. You know, I posted something on my social media. The people were divided. It was like Team Willem versus Team it was like Team Willem versus Team Mistress. Whose side do you want? And I want to give a shout out to Georges, because bitch, when I woke up this morning, I was not expecting her to like my comment on my bingo card and comment in the thing. So I love you. I was like, I love you too, bitch. Yeah, shout out to the girls from Drag Race that be watching, you know, the show and all that other stuff, you know, the videos and all that be posting on the social media because of what I said about the finale. So you said you got to stack that allowance. Okay. Word on the curb is he was. Yeah, that's why I said. I was like, I don't think he's gay. They were trying to make it like it's like he's some sort of victim or whatever. I was like, nah, he was gay for pay. I do not believe that Donovan truly loved that man. Huh? Worrying about what? He said Mitch's video was better than Willem's. Willem was kind of lost, has kind of lost it, and that is no shade. She was more interesting in that other interview that she did, the one that she did for, what was it, Daily Mail? That was a much more interesting interview. That, and I like that one, and I love the Amanda Lepore one. The Amanda Lepore interview was actually good too. All right, yeah. Let's get into it. So, Laverne Cox is being dragged on social media over, you know, for revealing, because she has like this one woman show coming up, which I guess is good because Laverne is very talented, but she can't just sit around and keep waiting for shows and things to pop up. So why not create a one-woman show? Well, girl, how did I get here? She basically revealed that she was in a relationship with a blonde-haired, blue-eyed MAGA Republican voter who was an NYPD officer for nearly 4 years. So I do have the clip of her over there on her page where she looks like she's wearing Halle Berry's storm wig from, what was the one? Days of Future Past. I think that was the one that she was wearing from that era. But anyway, yeah. So we have that clip. We're gonna play that clip as a classic. It's over there on her Instagram, and we'll come back and we'll talk. Please hold.
My ex-boyfriend, when we met 5 years ago at the height of the pandemic. He was 26, I was 48. He is blonde hair, blue-eyed, MAGA Republican voter who is a New York City police officer. We were madly in love. I did not develop any peace politics. I still have my own. Yeah, my ex-boyfriend was 22 years younger than me, hot MAGA Republican New York City police officer. Yeah. To hear more about that, come to my show at City Winery in New York City, July 28th. It's a Monday, show time 8 p.m.
Okay. Well, Laverne, I'm sorry, but I don't think you realize it's not the flex you thought it was. Why does she always talk like that? Like, she always be talking like, you know what she reminds me of, the way she be talking sometimes? Like, it just seems like it's like a black woman trying to pretend she's doing white woman cosplay with the voice, like code switching. Like, it's giving that. Like, I don't even know if that's really her voice. It's like probably a real diction that she's doing, probably from acting classes or whatever the case is. But it reminds me of like George Takei. Sulu. It's Sulu. Remember when they would always make fun of him on not the Cosby Show, child. I still got Bill Cosby in mind because we was talking about Malcolm-Jamal Warner earlier. But it reminds me of like, yeah, when he would go on the Howard Stern show and they would always mock how George Takei talked. It was giving that. So people got on social media and they were not happy with what she had said. So many felt betrayed that she would form such a long relationship with someone who voted for and supported a transphobic, racist, fascist president and works for an institution that has targeted Black and trans people for over 100 years. And one of the recent things I just heard was there was a story that came out that trans women are banned from playing in sports in this country because this is the thing that we need to be focusing on rather than, okay, so when are we getting universal health care? Why are you taking money from FEMA to put in the ICE? Why are ICE agents basically just grabbing innocent people off the street and throwing them in the alligator Auschwitz? Why are, you all of a sudden trying to go after Obama and throw him in jail because the Epstein files is what your base is wondering, when are you going to release them? And now you're saying nothing more to see here. But I do find it funny in this picture when you see the Coco Montrese posted this picture right here. It's like, no. Encyclopedia Madonna says, great admission the day we hear you spouting off about what Kamala did wrong. Ooh. The only JMV, that name sounds familiar. I think he's someone that works in the nightlife scene. He said, this is not something I want to hear about at your show. Love your activism and advocacy, so why would you use this to promote? Celine Dijon, who is a friend of mine, by the way, says, honey, this is not the enticement for ticket sales that you might think it is. Oh, another friend of mine, Official Sholalpa, he's the one that created that show that I was telling y'all about, the gay Latin series. Oh, that was on YouTube that Naisha Lopez did. He said, well, you definitely got everyone's attention now. Michael Joseph Massetti said, you are able to look past the fact that someone voted against your community and basically everything you represent. I don't get the punchline, nor does this entice me to want to go to a show to figure out how to justify this. Another person says, so you recorded this, edited, and still press upload? And you know what? It's just funny how, like, ma'am, you really sat up there like, yes, and I dated a MAGA Republican, and we were madly in love with each other, and he ate my pussy, the pussy that I spent 50 grand on. I don't necessarily know if it was 50 grand, but when you look between me down there, it looks every bit of the 50 grand you think I spent on this pussy. No one's pussy is as fabulous, by the way, as Amanda Lepore's, the trans icon who knows not to say some stupid shit like this for clicks and likes. So it's like, Laverne, what are you doing? Like, what is happening with you? Did somebody knock you upside your head and all of a sudden you just going through what are you going through? Is this some type of psychological change in your life in order to, quote, one of my favorite trans icons, Venus Extravaganza? It's like, what, are you going through some type of psychological change? Like, why would you even bring this up? And I think the reason why people are going hard core on her is because Laverne has decided to adapt this personality that she is sort of like the Harriet Tubman, the Sojourner Truth, the Angela Davis of trans women. Black trans women. You've been out here with your gobble black power, throwing your fists in the air like you out here trying to pioneer for the black folks, the black trans people. And yeah, you have done a lot of work, advocacy for the community. However, when you say some stuff like this, people look at this as like an ultimate betrayal. And I think that's why people are going in on you. But one of the things I will say that is the silver lining in this, and yes, you know, I will always find a silver lining in some shit. I feel like the silver lining is it shows that you got a human side to you, because I've always kind of looked at Laverne and she always comes off a bit elitist. She always comes off, I don't know her personally. I know people who do know her, and I've had people hold on. So now I gotta put one of my friends on blast. I ain't gonna tell you who they are, but I'm gonna tell you what they said. Oh, somebody asked me, is that post about Laverne legit? Hold on. I'm like, yes, it's on. Because I literally got industry people in my DMs asking me this. It's on her IG. And she ain't taking it down, because you see, I'm showing y'all the videos. And there's a second one where she decided to double down on what she said. We're going to play that in a second. But hold on, I got to find out what my friend, who is a drag queen, and they came up together in the industry, said this. Hold on, because I got to scroll up. Oh, so she went and said, oh, when I was talking about Laverne Cox, she said, this is why when she would talk my ear off at Now Bar, I wouldn't, I think, was it Nowhere Bar or Now Bar? But she put Now Bar, I wouldn't engage too much. Definitely gave as white adjacent as I can be, no matter what vibes. And I think that is one of the arguments that I feel like a lot of people were saying is that the reason why you got with this white dude is because it's like that typical thing that when you see black people in these type of spaces, whether you a celebrity, you could be a black straight person, or you could be a queer person like a Billy Porter, a Coleman Domingo, or whoever. When y'all get with these white people, all of a sudden y'all see this shift where their careers start to skyrocket. And then it's like you feel like, oh, I've made it. I've gotten into those rooms. I'm now a part of the elite because you with the opposite race. And you feel like they're going to elevate your situation. It's that assimilation or that adjacentness to whiteness. And then and also poses, she was like 10 years older than me, but when we met, she was my age. So I said, so Miss Mama's lied about her age. She said back in the day, it was so funny because when she secured Orange, meaning Orange is the New Black, a lot of friends loved it. And I was like, she's not my age. Then when her twin played her, I looked up his age and clocked. It's all in fun. But she was very white adjacent and said something to the effect of she liked me because I was intelligent. Did she insult your intelligence by saying that? And then send me some other stuff in regards to like the follow-up video, which we do have that. So I would just be like, yeah, I just feel like she thought that, you know what, I need to get people to come see this one woman show. And oh my God, I'm really hoping to God that this is not 50 minutes, because we do not have 50 minutes to watch this. But girl, this next video I'm about to show you, sis, you thought that you was going to come up here and just bare your soul, literally, by having on no makeup? So yeah, let's play this, because she is giving me Wendy Williams meets Beast and Beauty and the Beast tease without that makeup on. But let's get into it. Please hold.
We are live. I am actually rehearsing for my show. My director's right over there. And I was like, let me check on this post and see what the children are saying. And the children are gagging that my ex-boyfriend, the MAGA Republican, Trump voting cop, people are gagging in the comments. And I don't know. I didn't really think about what the reaction would be. I just was like telling the truth about it, teasing the show. It is a big part of the show that I'm doing at City Winery a week from today. That relationship, what the relationship was like, how we attempted to navigate our differences politically, But for the record, when we met on Tinder, when we matched on Tinder, I didn't know what he did for a living. I didn't know his politics. We were just chatting. He actually, told me he did something else. I'll explain. If you come to the show, I'll explain in the show. And
shameless plug.
I was in love. One of the comments was like, just say it was about the G.
It probably was. You know, skinny ones got big dicks.
It was lovely. But I'm a grown woman. I'm like, okay, I'm a grown woman. I've lived. I am not going to date someone for like 4 years because of the D or because of something superficial about how he looks. He has a beautiful soul and has really beautiful qualities. And I was in love. And as I found out his job and his politics, particularly in 2020, if you recall, we were having conversations really for the first time in this country about white supremacy and trying to have conversations with people across difference. And anyone who knows me, like for years, I've always encouraged people to have conversations with people across difference with love and empathy. That is a value of mine that I strongly believe in, and that is something I attempted to do in this relationship. And that's a lot of what the show is about, in addition to how did I get here? And then things get very complicated. It's not, I don't want to give away what happened in our relationship. You should come to the show and find out if you can. But I do want to say that reading the comments, and I get it, it feels like a lot of people in the comment section are dehumanizing people who have different political beliefs than they do. And I see that all over social media. I see that all over the media. If someone has different political beliefs, they're somehow not human anymore. And that is something that dehumanizing anyone is not consistent with my values. Fascism is not consistent with my values. I am an anti-fascist. I never adopted any of my ex's politics. I always challenged him and with love and empathy and tried to listen to his perspectives, often corrected him with facts. And I wanted to see if it was possible to have a relationship with someone with different political beliefs in theory, but it was just, I fell in love. I fell in love with a human being who had different politics, and I was in love. And what the good things about the relationship were so good that I was willing to work with the politics that I didn't agree with. And
all right, so we can leave it there because I heard this video goes on for 50 minutes, and we do not have time to sit up here and focus on all that. If y'all want to hear the rest, y'all can go over to her IG and you can listen to what she had to say. Is she really trying to get y'all to come to that damn, that winery shit? Isn't that the same place that T.S. Madison and Craig was doing fag talk? And it was something they not messing with them no more because the business wasn't businessing, and they mentioned that a little bit on their show. But anyway, so that's what she having her thing. If y'all care enough to go over there and check her out, definitely do it. But it seemed like she done piss a lot of people off. There were people even pissed off about this video with what she was saying. Official Shalalpa said, "Where's your publicist?" And then Coco Montrese put gaslighting, manipulate someone using psychological methods into questioning, it keeps moving fast, their own sanity or powers of reasoning. Jada Essence Hall said, ooh, in this political economy, that's a huge investment. That for sure will yield 0 IDK. First of all, yeah, especially in this political economy, I'm not sitting there trying to rhyme or have, reason or negotiate or try to sit and understand. She's talking about, I listened and I actually took him in for empathy and listened with empathy. But I was like, but did he offer the same energy to you? So you over here trying to be, all understanding and shit. But did he reciprocate? Did he receive what you were saying? And did he also return the favor? Was he giving you the same thing that you were giving him? Because I'm like, last I checked, this relationship ain't one-sided. So was he actually doing that, or was you doing all the heavy damn lifting? And I don't give a good goddamn how good somebody's dick is, or if, you know, how sweet and kind their soul is. First of all, I want to know, when did the conversation about politics come up? And how long did it take for y'all to get to that point? Because I'm not saying like, okay, we out to eat the first night. We had Rosanna Scotto restaurant and we breaking bread and over like the brie. So who'd you vote for? Like, I'm not saying that you got to do it that quick, but at least I need to know everything I'm getting myself into before I get too deep in this relationship. And for you to sit there and be like, oh yeah, it was even though he was a Trump supporter and he's going against everything I stand for, where Trump is trying to roll back everything with anybody who isn't white, male, and have money in a damn pocket, who isn't rich, white, and male. That's all he cares about. If you ain't got money, you moving funny. He don't care about you. So I don't understand how you got all the things against you. You black and you trans. They don't see it for you on that side. Although we do know a lot of Trump supporters and people in law enforcement and government who low-key like people of the same gender and the T-girls. They're like the dolls. I mean, did we have a conversation that the RNC, like Grindr, blew up out there where they had the RNC last year? So we know how they get down. Oh, they talk about they want to roll back this, that, and the other. But low-key, they like their cheeks clap. Particularly with the women with a little something extra between me down there who still got their man's toolbox. I mean, Laverne don't have hers. She already told about it. She had bottom surgery. But like I said before, I truly believe the only reason why people went in on her is because Laverne has adopted this mentality that she is this sort of pompous, elitist, very much a social advocate for the community. And when you do that, you're not allowed to make mistakes. But at the end of the day, I will say this, Laverne is human. So she's allowed to screw up and make mistakes and learn from them. But you up in here defending this and really trying to get people, well, if y'all want to hear what she knew, what this was going to give. Like, in this economy, in this current climate, with how polarizing Trump is and how he's gotten so many people divided right now politically, you knew that one thing that you mentioned out of all the things you're going to be talking about in this upcoming event, that would be the thing that would get us all up in arms and riled up and talking about you and have you go viral. Let's not play like we don't know how this shit works. Come on, Laverne. Don't piss on my leg and tell me it's raining. Especially when you wear a Halle Berry wig from X-Men Days of Future Past. That's kind of like the Sheen equivalent. That ain't even the good wig. So, oh yeah, there was one more thing I want to pull up that was stated, and I feel like this pretty much sums up the situation. I think this is the picture of her man. I'm like, girl, you talking about, I don't know what you was looking at. Maybe she had the same glasses Superman had on, where it's like put on the, if you've seen the movie, you know the thing, where it was like, oh, if he wear these glasses, y'all think that, y'all don't know that he's Clark Kent, so he had on these special type of glasses or whatever. That's how they explain it. So maybe we always wearing the same glasses, because I don't see what you see. But hold on, let me take this out. So yeah, that's supposed to be her man. I'm like, he got a big ass head. Did somebody actually put that MAGA hat on his head? I don't know if that's him though. Apparently, I don't know. Well, let me know in the comments if that is her man. But hold on, because now I got to pull the thing up. I thought I had, that I would be able to read it. So Jerome Trammell said the following: while I'm not condemning Laverne Cox, I can absolutely see why others are sharing her frustrations. She was parading around performing activism, seeking to hold others accountable. Meanwhile, in a full relationship and throwing it back for a blonde hair, blue eye MAGA and Trump supporting cop. She could be our fave and still get her lashings. And in 3 business days, social media will move on, because if it was some other black activist, y'all would be dragging them by their edges. I wonder who they're referring to. We have to about that. So it's like, you know, Laverne can get away. Somebody like a T.S. Madison can get away with this whole situation, because T.S. Madison has never made no qualms about who she is. She's always been upfront and unfiltered. And she wouldn't, but the thing is, she wouldn't get with no maggot. That's the one thing we know about her. I don't even think she would ever get with a white man. But nevertheless, and Craig would never let her live that down. He would be eating her up over there on fact. I mean, she'd be eating him back because, she a Libra. They stay going back and forth. But they don't let y'all get over on the reads and the gags. But she would never stoop to this situation. To me, it's just like, are y'all that hard up and desperate for love because it's slim pickings out there for trans women to really get in genuine, meaningful relationships? Because we hear the stories about how trans women struggle to find like love with someone who actually likes them beyond them being a fetish. So when you finally get a relationship where by appearance and by however it's unfolding, that it's a real loving relationship, you willing to just look the other way at all the red flags because you're getting what in your mind you feel like is real love from this person. So I'm gonna just bypass all the reds or the signs and just go along to get along. No, ma'am, not I, said the cat. So I think I'm done talking about this for now. I probably forgot some of the other things I was going to say earlier, but y'all know I don't write notes. It's always freestyle up on this show. So I definitely want to hear from y'all. What do you guys think of this story overall? Let me know in the comments. I definitely want to hear from y'all regarding this whole situation. And this is definitely a conversation that I feel like we need to be having more of regarding people within our community and why we always feel like the only way we can get some type of love, affection, recognition, any kind of status is that we have to attach as people of color ourselves to white men and forego a lot of our morals and a lot of what we stand for just so that way we can have a piece of love. Because what was that song? A piece of man is better than no man at all. Who said that? Betty Wright? You was wrong, sis. Right? You was Miss Wright. You was not correct with that. So it's like, no, a piece of man is not better than no man at all. I'm not sitting up in here sacrificing my morals and things. I mean, don't get me wrong, we've all been in situations that we're not necessarily proud of. I'll even say that. But I ain't never dated somebody or been in a relationship with somebody this extreme. Because it's like, yes, politics is definitely something that is a factor in if I'm going to get with somebody. And if you out here supporting being, especially with all of how Trump is like 10 times worse now. If you support that foolishness, I can't get behind you. Not no relationship. So I definitely want to hear from y'all. So let me know what your thoughts are on this story in the comments down below. I was not expecting to go over 3 hours, but I knew that breaking that Laverne Cox story down was going to be a long one. All right, so wait, hold on, I gotta scroll up some more. Oh, you said Perez is worried about being doxxed by Blake Lively because of his kids, but I can't feel sorry. He out. Okay. Neil Patrick Harris. Who was the one that was from Dr. Quinn Medicine Woman? Chad Allen outed him, outed Lance. Didn't he out Lance Bass too? So you was going after all the homosexuals. So yeah, I don't feel sorry for you. My sister done burnt too many bridges and there's nothing I can do for her now. Ooh, she seemed a little too giddy on blonde hair. If she gonna date a Trumpy that fetishize her, at least let him be cute and rich. Okay. The creators of South Park just issued a season premiere, and it might derail the merger with Scott. I think with Skydance. It's basically Trump sleeping with the devil after Paramount linked. Yeah, and that, you know what it is. You really thinking that it's going to end with that? Once you give, when it comes to the Trump and his administration, give an inch, they want a mile. So they're going to keep asking for things because they know, oh, if I can dangle this over your head, I can get more out of you because you need something from me. That's how he thinks. She claimed he was hot and said nothing on the pockets. Either way, she could. I mean, he's a cop. They don't really make that much money. Yeah, everybody was telling him, was like, sis, you should have kept that in the chamber. Aryan MAGA cop is wild. How hard is it to meet another black folk, especially since the standards are in the gutter? Well, I don't know. Are there black men out here that's willing to openly date a trans woman? I mean, black men are being clowned consistently about the whole thing. And I mean, we even heard recently the big debate between T.S. Madison and Nene Leakes when they were talking about dating a trans woman and some of what Nene said. Dehumanizing someone for being from a marginalized identity is nowhere near the same as not accepting someone for having hateful views. Okay? And she stood up there defending the foolishness. Catch a film, The Madison Square Garden, for Blu-ray future release and live album. Well, look, even though I didn't get to work it, at least I'll get to see it. A MAGA cop boyfriend. Some people just okay. You know, some people got their fetishes. She was talking about his soul, which probably just means he was nice and affectionate. And in my opinion, that's more surface level than politics is definitely a deal breaker. I was like, so you want somebody who doesn't see me, that is denying me health care, who's denying me the ability to exist in this world. That's what you vote for. So you really don't see it for me. Because I don't know if I can be in the bed with somebody late at night and thinking, is he going to take me out? Like, what you really think behind them eyes? And if anybody does happen to go on Sunday, let me know what she said. I hope somebody spills the tea and tells us what caused her man to leave her. I don't think that pic is real. Everything but the hat seems too similar. Probably wasn't. And if that, they probably just found some weird looking white dude and just put a MAGA hat on him. And if that was the boy she was talking about, she lied because he ain't nothing to look at. Child. They added all the seasons of South Park on Paramount. Yeah, because after this whole deal, it makes sense that they would have all the seasons and stuff on there. So I'm like, y'all fired Colbert, but you're not. And then you just put all this money at Trey Parker and Matt Stone, and it's not a big deal. Okay, all right. Okay, so y'all, let's get into our final topic. Let's talk about Adam Lambert, who is now single out in these streets because his boyfriend, Oliver Gliese, who they say he was dating since 2020, but I think they went official like a year later, so we'll just say they've been hunching for over 5 years. Well, apparently Adam is single. And funny enough, Adam is about to do, is it Jesus Christ Superstar? I think it is. He's doing Jesus Christ Superstar, and Cynthia Erivo is playing Jesus. He's playing Judas. So at 43, the Grammy nominee is 14 years older than the Twitch streamer, and they broke up within the last month and is drama-free, according to TMZ. However, the ex-couple haven't posted an Instagram snap featuring one another since June of 2024. Damn, so they probably was broken up for a long time because we're in 2025, and it's been a year. But then again, you got to think about it. Adam's been pretty busy. Adam was performing at, I'm trying to remember if I even saw him with his man when I was in Fire Island last year, because that's where I saw Adam. I saw that platinum hair a mile away and knew it was him. But I'm trying to remember if Oliver was with him. I can't remember. But he's been busy. He put out an EP, Afters. Then he's been touring. Then he recently just did Cabaret, which I just heard Billy Porter, who out here wearing Keisha Cole Let It Go wig. Yeah, from that video. I guess he's promoting himself in, I guess that was the reason, because I don't know why he was around, but he was promoting something. I thought it might have been Cabaret, which I know Orville Peck was doing. I don't know if he's wrapped that up either, but anyway. So it said, earlier this month, Adam celebrated, really, LGBTQIA plus Pride Month. It's gay fucking Pride. Stop it. Or Pride Month. In New York City with his Ride or Dies, a term of endearment he used to reserve for Oliver. There are reports that Lambert and Gliese began dating as far back as 2020, but they didn't go Instagram official until May 2021. In March 2024, he shared a snap caption, "Love is the answer." I love that song. In 2023, the cabaret thespian publicly defended the former Global Fashion Agenda Partnerships manager after he received a barrage of homophobic comments. saying he is beautiful and brave and daring. One of the many things I love about him. Adam, who boasts 11.5 million social media followers, wrote via Insta story. He says, we are happy together, and if the haters don't like it, we don't give a fuck. Grow up and challenge yourself to explore tolerance. Oliver, whose drag persona is Valkyrie, originally hails from Denmark, where he graduated from Copenhagen Business School. News of Lambert's newly single status came the day after TMZ reported he sold his 4-bedroom Hollywood Hills estate for $6.2 million, $300,000 less than what he paid for the 3-story home in 2018. The Indiana-born Cali-raised Belter was previously romantically linked to retired figure skater. He dated Johnny Weir. Where the hell was I? But they said neither confirmed the rumor. Adam made history in 2012 as the first openly homosexual male artist to top the Billboard 200 chart in the U.S., but he was outed with a leaked Burning Man photo 3 years earlier while competing on the 8th season of American Idol. Well, according to Adam Lambert, he was never in the closet. Like, he was always relatively out with who he was, so it wasn't a secret. As y'all know, Chris Allen, who we haven't heard from since, went on to win the formerly Fox singing competition over Lambert amid controversy over his forcible outing and the voting process, but producers stood by the outcome of the results. Well, yeah, we all know it was homophobia because we were saying they always try to say they were gay friendly. They all weren't. American Idol was not gay friendly, especially back in the day, hence why a lot of the children was in the closet. Clay Aiken. Who's the other one? Oh, David Archuleta, who, recently came out like a couple of years ago. And we also heard that he's got a memoir coming out. So, what else I went on to say? Okay. The RuPaul's Drag Race guest judge would next use his 3 octave pipes to portray Judas Iscariot. I think it's whatever, Judas. We're gonna call Judas, opposite Cynthia Erivo's Jesus and director Sergio Trujillo's production of Jesus Christ Superstar at the Hollywood Bowl in LA from August 1st to August 3rd. So that's next week. On July 14th, Josh Gad, who plays Herod, shared a Instagram snap of himself rehearsing with Adam and Philippa Sue, who plays Mary Magdalene, Andrew Lloyd Webber, and Tim Rice's 1971 musical. So, it's like a collage of photos and stuff that I put on the article or whatever. And it says, basically, he says, I was excited to do something new, which was kind of old for me, but new again, This is what he told Variety Stagecraft Podcast on Tuesday. Judas is questioning everything. He's critical. He's analytical. He's the one person that'll argue with Jesus. And I think part of it is that, excuse me, Judas reflects my shadow self. If I'm being honest with myself or anybody else about what my faults are, I can see those same faults in Judas. Me on a bad day, I have a tendency to disagree or to rebel or to not go with the status quo. I'm very much like, well, everyone else is doing it. I don't like it. The Queen and Adam Lambert, Frontman, also teased that he's penning an original musical, said it's definitely got a rock and roll spirit. It takes place in the 70s in New York. It's glam, and that's kind of all I can say. Adam, who gets 2.5 monthly listeners on Spotify, released an EP called Afters in 2024 and has reportedly sold over 3 million records worldwide. Why do I feel like he sold more than that? But only 3 million? That's not a whole lot. But I guess it is if you're an openly homosexual artist. Not many people can say that. But I'd be interested to hear what this musical is that he's doing. And it's glam rock and all this other, which is something he's relatively interested in. I'm definitely interested in hearing what this music sounds like and what this entails. And who knows, maybe it'll go off Broadway like Drag the Musical and then eventually hit Broadway. Speaking of Drag the Musical, they need to bring that back. That was a good show and more people need to see it. All right, so shout out to Adam. I did hear that maybe the reason why that he and Oliver probably went their separate ways is because Adam's been relatively busy. Like, his career's been red hot. He's been out here performing. He's been doing a lot of traveling. He's, between Queen and the EP and doing the musical of Cabaret, and then now he's doing Jesus Christ Superstar for 3 nights. So he's always booked and busy. And when you booked and busy a lot, you don't have time to really invest, unfortunately, in your relationships, because he's one of the rare openly queer performers who's booking gigs and got to keep them coins coming in. So, but that was a lot he paid on that house, though. I don't know. Well, I don't know if I would pay that kind of, or maybe I would, but anyway. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story regarding the latest on Adam Lambert? And unfortunately, like, he's single, but I'm sure, like, look, he's not that hurt over it. I'm sure there's plenty of boys, excuse me, that'll be out here willing to throw themselves at him, get their rocks off, and in no time he'll wind up in another long-term relationship, because that seems to be the thing that Adam likes. Adam likes being in these long relationships. Every time we hear him in a relationship, they last pretty long. So he's very much a relationship guy. So I definitely want to hear from y'all. Let me know what your thoughts are on this story in the comments down below. Oh yeah, that would definitely be good. Halloween being on a Friday this year, so we could just, it goes right into the weekend versus, it always feels weird when like it's in the middle of the week, like a Wednesday or something. I thought about possibly going out for Halloween, but we'll see. Okay. All right, y'all. So now we are officially at the end of today's show. I want to thank you all for tuning in to the latest episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. If you have not if you haven't done it by now, please do me a solid, hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, and also be sure to smash the notification bell so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. I want to thank you all for tuning in and the comments and all the good stuff, keeping me awake on this show, because even though I was tired, because I've been up since like 7:30 this morning, and it's already 12:30 in the, after midnight on the East Coast. I'm probably gonna go to sleep until like 3 any damn way, but because I'm gonna have to do some more work. And the day never ends, and I'm not complaining because I like what I do. So yeah, so thank you all for continuously supporting the show and always coming in here and kikiing with me for as long as we kiki, whether it be I don't think we've ever done a 2 hours. 2.5, 3 hours, sometimes 4, sometimes 5. Thank you all for tuning in and always sticking with me from the beginning all the way to the end and listen to all this mess that I've just be talking about on this show. Your love and appreciation I do not take it for granted, and all that good stuff. So yeah, I'll be back tomorrow with a brand new episode with some more tea to spill, God willing, if there's anything of interest to come out. But yeah, I'll definitely be here to give y'all a show. So love you all for watching. Thank you for constantly supporting and all that good stuff. And until next time, ciao, darlings.